So, Greg, I mean, I'm not sure if I need to tell you this, but some of your shirts are kind of crappy. I mean, you know,
What do you mean by crappy? They got a sweet little pocket right here.
I mean, they
That's
could be better. I mean, there's a place I know where it has lots of cool stuff. Uh,
yeah, but how cool?
we're talking about AAA cool. We're talking about shirts from 86.com. They're a pretty cool site. They sell all types of merchandise, including t-shirts, keychains, and other cool stuff that they sell on their site. And also have awesome video game material as well, such as Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, Guilty Gear, Skullgirls, Blaze Blue, Smite, and 86's own brand of t-shirts as well as other stuff. Recently they put out some new keychains for Street Fighter 5. So yeah, there's some awesome stuff there. So I'm just suggesting, next time you go out and buy a shirt of any kind, I suggest check out 86.com. And if you want to support us and them at the same time, please use this link in your web browser to check out 86.com. Put in www.86.com !AFF equals 4. Again, www.86.com !AFF equals 4. This link will tell them that we sent you and that we're cool with them as long as you're cool with us. Thank you and enjoy the show.
That was amazing, Kirito.
Well, at least one of us enjoyed ourselves.
Excuse me?
Sorry, I can't turn it off. I'm broken. Please fix me.
Wow, that was almost kind of romantic.
Dude, what are you doing? We're blowing this. What were we supposed to say? We don't even know what made her like us in the first place. Fine. Just calm down. The hard part's over. As long as she doesn't throw us any curveballs, I think we're good.
So, what should we do now?
Fuck! What the hell is she talking about? What comes after sex? I don't know. All the dating sims just go to credits at this point. Well, she asked us a question, sir. We have to say something. Look, just say anything. Anything! Just say it with confidence. All right. Here goes nothing. We should get married. No! What? You said say anything. Anything except that, obviously. I'm sorry. I do work well under pressure. You know what? It's fine. Forget it. We'll just play it off as a joke. No harm done.
Yes, let's do it.
You fool! You duped us all! Hey, she seems pretty happy about it. Maybe she knows something we don't.
Bitch, why the fuck did you say yes? I don't know!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rolling 20. We are the crew that would have made great Green Lanterns if it wasn't for the fear running down our legs. I am Jeremy.
Steve. And Jesse.
Remember, you can subscribe to this show and several others in the MSP library at missionstarpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and on Tumblr. Follow us on Twitter at The Rolling 20s. You can send us any fan mail, suggestions for the show, or hate mail at mspfreight@yahoo.com. The music you heard is by Machine Supremacy. You can find more of their discography for free download at machinesupremacy.com, as well as their latest albums on amazon.com. The clip you heard is by Something Witty Entertainment. It's called SAO Abridged Parody, Episode 10. You can find more of their videos on youtube.com under their channel of Something Witty Entertainment. How's it going?
Oh, sick. Still recovering from that.
It's just when I ask that question, there's always this 3-second delay, like you're booting up the hard drive or something.
We're getting our thoughts together.
It's been a relatively uneventful week, which is kind of welcome considering the holidays are still fresh in my head. I posted on my Facebook that I might be interested in a Disney trip towards the early part of next year, and somebody messaged me out of the blue from Louisiana saying they're a specialist in planning Disney trips, and they'd like to know if they can help me for free, they claim.
Free.
Yeah. Just like they're a specialist in planning Disney trips, but they do it without money. I think I can fill that role. But it's just one of those weird out-of-the-blue items. Other than that, I'm trying to get ready for Anime Los Angeles. I got a couple things I need to grab ahead of time, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to try. It's going to be a dice roll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, other than that, it's been okay. Rabbit's still alive. I haven't killed it yet.
Hasn't killed you either.
No, it's tried. Keeps thinking that 2 a.m. is a good time to wake me up so it can eat something.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. But everything else has been pretty basic so far. Anything heavy happening?
I have to get ready to go to a birthday party next week.
Oh, your pimp is finally having his birthday?
No, my nephew is, though.
So you're a pimp?
He's a little young.
Oh, they all start young.
Uh-huh, 1.
That's a good place to start, yeah.
You're terrible.
Got to get that backhand good and strong. What are you going to do for this birthday?
We're all rolling over to Modesto for a pizza party, apparently.
A Chuck E. Cheese pizza party or a local pizza party?
I think,
Boomers, probably.
Huh?
Boomers?
Oh, no.
Boomer sounds like a bit much for a 1-year-old.
Well,
it's a compromise to get the entire family there, on both sides, and her side is much larger, so it's just to accommodate everyone that's going to show up.
Plus, I mean, a 1-year-old's birthday party isn't really for the 1-year-old, it's for everybody going there to celebrate, the child turning 1, because, honestly, is the child going to remember his first birthday party?
Oh, hell no.
I don't know. I don't know. That's why for most of my kids it was just like, invite whichever close people are nearby and then just, have a cupcake, let them smash it and be done with it, because frankly, they're not going to care.
No, at all.
Dude, I got into the stupidest argument with my mom over Christmas presents for my brother's kids. I spent more money on his 2 stepsons than his real son, and she was complaining about that I'm not spending enough money on blood relatives. Like, Mom, he's not even 1. He's not going to remember anything. He doesn't even know what he wants besides to poop and sleep.
Oh, that's exactly what he wants. Get him an enema.
So it's at a round table.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that is an enema, so okay. The subject of this week is Black Panther issues 1 through 5 by Marvel Comics. We'll get to that after we get through the news of the week. And first up is Marvel Media News. That's where we talk about the Marvel properties that are headed to all forms of multimedia, with the exception of comic book pages. Avengers Infinity War, I don't know if principal shooting has begun yet, but it has been confirmed that a long-missing Marvel character is reappearing in this film.
Who?
This character was played by Liv Tyler last time it was seen. Do you remember who that is?
Betty Ross?
Yep.
Huh.
The reason for her appearance is as of yet unknown, but Liv Tyler has been cast officially in Avengers Infinity War. This came out via the Daily Telegraph. I mean, obviously it has to have something with Bruce Banner and or the Hulk. But other than that, details are pretty scarce. I wonder how many people realized the joke about her that was in Avengers Age of Ultron. Because I figured it out on my second watch through, while everyone else was puzzling over a different detail. Would you like to know what that was?
Yeah.
Okay. When the Hulk was controlled by the Scarlet Witch in Avengers Infinity War, Tony Stark did...
Infinity War?
Not Infinity War, sorry, in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
The Hulk had gone insane, and Tony Stark was the only Avenger left standing, so he went to take care of it. He donned the Hulkbuster armor, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before he did that, he launched a modified pod he called Veronica.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's an Archie joke. When Betty isn't around, who else is going to calm the beast? I saw that and smiled, but I've never posted that online simply because I knew there were so many people that just wouldn't understand why that's funny.
I get it.
There are still posts across the internet of why did he name it Veronica? I have no idea what Marvel character that is. It's not a single Marvel character.
No, but it's something Tony Stark would do.
Yeah. You ain't got Betty, so you went to Veronica. As a matter of fact, in regards to Infinity War, supposedly a very notorious actor is in talks to be cast for both Infinity War and its eventual sequel, according to Variety.
Notorious?
Notorious.
Who?
And he's notorious because of his acting, but also for the fact that he's approximately 4 feet tall.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yep, Peter Dinklage is being cast for an unknown role, supposedly, or at least in talks for the casting. You know, I sat there and I'm just like, he's an awesome actor. He could play just about anything he wanted to, really. But then I thought about it again, it's like, please tell me he's going to be Puck.
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's not something he can physically do because of, you know, the limitations of his body. He's not one of those full motion little people. I forget the proper word for it. I'm sorry, but you know, he does suffer from a form of dwarfism. I know there's two types. There's the ones where people have relative good motion of their limbs. There's another type, though, where because of the way the body is grown, you know, it's difficult for individuals to lift their arms past their shoulders. I don't know. Maybe he does fall in the first category. He does seem kind of limber now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm probably screwing that all the way up. Never mind. Either way, Avengers Infinity War is in pre-production right now. The current release date scheduled is May 4th, 2018. So that will be the big movie for next year, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And there was a curious reveal this week in regards to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that, for once, was not James Gunn's fault, although he did elaborate on it.
What?
This you can blame on Funko.
Oh! Alright, toys. Got it.
Yes. There was a Twitter user who noticed Funko was releasing a set of mini-pops in regards to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You know, nothing innocuous, nothing evil about it. However, in the midst of it all, he noticed at least one character he couldn't identify, so he tweeted James Gunn about it. You want to see the image of the Funko Pops, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I sent it for you guys to review, and you can see right off the bat there, it's got a lot of characters that are pretty easy to identify. You got Star-Lord in and out of his mask. You can see Mantis, Gamora, Yondu, Nebula, Groot, Rocket Raccoon, Drax, you know, all pretty simple to identify.
Mm-hmm.
He specifically asked James Gunn about the character at the very top there, with the blonde hair and the yellow face.
Okay.
And James Gunn responded very directly that this is the villain of the film, this is Aisha.
I have no idea who that is.
Aisha is actually a very long-standing character in Marvel Comics. It goes back to the 70s, I would say. You know who Adam Warlock is in Marvel?
Yeah.
He was a character that was created by cosmic beings, I forget which ones, but he is the epitome of human evolution. He's supposed to be the final form of humans. Well, the same race also created a female counterpart to him. You know, this was back when Adam Warlock had no name. He was just known as him. They created a companion for him, her. This her eventually took its own name, which is Aisha. Huh. And Aisha is not exactly a supervillain, but she's not the most moral or ethical creature in the universe. She has her goals, she goes for it. I assume you understand the meaning behind all that. So there's a question as to whether or not there will be any Adam Warlock in this film now, with the introduction of this character. However, considering the amount of characters already in it, as you can see by this set of pops, I sincerely doubt it. There's already a lot going on here. Now, this is an interesting story. Jeremy Renner has announced that he is going to move into a productionary role for the Marvel Entertainment Universe.
Really?
Not necessarily cinematic, yeah. He told Deadline that he is going to produce an animated film. Which is cool, you know. They haven't revealed what subject matter this film is going to be, but he is producing an animated film, which is all well and good. This created a problem because Deadline's people, I guess, have bad hearing. When he said that I'm producing an animated film, the immediate headline they put out a couple days ago was, "Oh my God, Jeremy Renner's producing an Ant-Man film."
What? Okay, I see where they got that, but that's really cutting out a few letters. But
I thought, you know, they lit up the internet with that. They reported it. It bounced around everywhere. You know, people were freaking out. Oh my God, he's making an Ant-Man film. The following day, Deadline had to produce a retraction that basically said, I said animated film. So, the internet right now is eating crow, and I just got to sit back and watch it happen. People should really slow down. 2 existing Marvel characters would like to be involved in other properties right now. And when I say other properties, they want the characters they play to meet other characters that have been either introduced or proposed. Now, one of them I would really like to see on the big screen. Because Tom Hiddleston, he went to the Golden Globes award ceremony, and he took the opportunity to poke with MTV News, quote, "Let's put it this way. Doctor Strange has intensely cerebral time-bending powers. At the end of Thor the Dark World, Loki's on the throne. What happened to Odin? So maybe Doctor Strange has to help out with that particular conundrum." Unquote. To see those 2 British men just go crazy with their wildly enigmatic and egotistic characters is going to be a joy.
And there's Thor caught in the middle.
Mm-hmm. But it's the other one that really made me sit up and think. Remember last week we talked about James Gunn? He had a pitch for a Moon Knight film, which wasn't picked up by Marvel so far, at least.
Uh-huh.
At this point, they've managed to decline it, although Marvel's entertainment universe seems to be picking up steam, so it could be revisited, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one person who's already playing a character in Marvel's universe has said that he would like to take him up on that Moon Knight thing. But he doesn't want to play Moon Knight.
Okay.
The exact quote from Twitter was, quote, "Okay, Monsignor James Gunn, if you're going to make Moon Knight into a film, dude, I am in," unquote. That came off the Twitter of Vincent D'Onofrio. The reason why they're laughing, for those that aren't aware, Vincent D'Onofrio currently plays Wilson Fisk in the Netflix version of the Marvel Universe. And I gotta admit, if Moon Knight was brought in, the Kingpin would be a great place for him to start.
Oh, yeah.
Keep in mind, though, that the pitch that James Gunn made was a Moon Knight film, and so far, none of the Netflix characters have made the actual jump to cinematics. They've all stayed on television thus far. Or streaming, if you prefer that lingo. Which makes me a little sad, but yeah, I gotta admit, a lot of the Netflix characters, though they're more interesting because more screen time has been lent to them, a lot of them are way out of their depth on this cosmic stuff the Avengers keep tripping into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Jessica Jones traveling on the Milano, that would not work.
Oh, no.
Speaking of which, Entertainment Weekly had a ton of images this week in regards to the Defenders. Filming has definitely begun in earnest on this show. I sent you guys a link to the Marvel Cinematic Universe Facebook page. They had a small gallery, and it's stunning. The first image there of Misty Knight apparently has Jessica Jones in handcuffs in an interrogation room. That will not go well. But at least we can confirm now that Misty Knight is still apparently a detective at this point. She hasn't quit the force. The next picture of Mike Coulter is Luke Cage in handcuffs, probably still in Georgia at this point.
And his prison uniform.
Yep. Next image of Matt Murdock in a red background. He looks like he hears something he doesn't like. Jessica Jones in a fire escape with a bunch of purple fog around her. That following image of Mike Coulter coming out of the warehouse with the golden light.
Yeah.
I saw one person that joked, this is what it looks like when black people set your warehouse on fire and run away. And then the following image of Danny Rand bathed in a green glow there.
They're using interesting lighting effects.
Yeah. The next image, it involves a bit of Photoshop, that's pretty obvious, but the spray-painted public defenders on the back of the truck. And that last image of Danny Rand, and I assume that's Colleen Wing with him. It looks like she's wearing a backpack, but that could also be a gun harness. I'm not entirely sure.
could be a parachute.
Yeah, she's a bit out of focus there. They're definitely standing next to a helicopter for some reason.
Yeah. He's
It's a good
wearing
set of
a backpack, too, or a parachute.
Yeah, it's a good set of images.
Backpack.
There's still no release date yet for the Defenders. However, I strongly believe it'll come out in either October or November of this year. There is an official synopsis for the Logan film. And it's been described as very, lone wolf and cub. According to the synopsis, quote, in the near future, a weary Logan cares for an ailing Professor X in a hideout on the Mexican border. But Logan's attempts to hide from the world and his legacy are upended when a young mutant arrives being pursued by dark forces, unquote. It sounds like the synopsis of every goddamn X-Men film. With the exception of an ailing Professor X. You know, that's something that occurred to me as I was thinking over this week, that most of the X-Men films have basically been Wolverine and these guys. They've all centered around Hugh Jackman. I'm not saying he sucks. What I'm saying is the writers have got to spread their wings a little bit.
Especially since they're losing Jackman.
Yeah, the best thing that happened for the reboot was when they managed to restart it without Wolverine and give other characters a chance to actually exist. Then for Days of Futures Past, they got that all muddled because of the time-jumping thing. Then they lost him again for X-Men Apocalypse, which could have been a good film, but it wasn't. It had issues. The Logan film is due out this year, March 3rd. I think it comes out just before Justice League. The writers for Deadpool confirmed that 3 major characters are returning for the sequel. However, they may not have much more than cameo roles for this one. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick confirmed that Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead would at least have cameos in the film. So both the actress and the voice actor have a little more work to do. But probably the most important of the 3 characters that are returning is the third one. They confirmed that Dopinder will return in the film.
Okay.
The Hindu cab driver?
Yes.
Yes. According to Wernick...
rescue him from jail?
I don't know. According to Wernick, he told Nerdist, quote, I would say that the relationship between Dopinder and Deadpool was the most fun for me. I love that relationship and I love that character. And he'll be in the sequel, unquote. Cable is confirmed to appear in the film. Domino is reportedly in the works to be added to the film. There's still no announcement as to who is playing those 2 characters as of yet. No title or release date have been announced for the Deadpool sequel. And thank goodness, somebody finally told us what to expect from the Legion TV show. It only begins next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Legion's TV creator and producer, Noah Hawley, explained a few of the characters and the powers within. Quote, David has psychic abilities, telepathy and telekinesis, among other things. He's an Omega mutant. He's very powerful. Sid, who's played by Rachel Keller, doesn't like to be touched. If she touches your skin, she trades places with you. Her mind goes into your body and the other way around.
Oh.
We have an actor.
Explains that weird.
We have an actor, Jeremy Harris, who plays a character named Ta-Nehisi. He's a memory artist. He remembers everything, and he has ability to take people back into their own memories and helps David get into his mind. And there are other characters with other powers, but those are the main ones, unquote.
Okay. Certainly a lot of things get explained there.
It explains a few things. However, I would really like to know if these are actually separate characters or if all these characters are voices within Legion's own mind, and this is his multiple personality syndrome. Because the TV show, or the ads for the TV show have not made it clear if the character of David Heller is just psychokinetic as they've described, or if a lot of the characters he's interacting with while he's in this asylum or laboratory or wherever he is are just different voices in his own head. As we've seen in the comic books, in the character of Legion, each personality has its own power set. That's why he's named Legion.
Right.
So, I hope the schizophrenia makes it in. However, it's one of those disappointing things because if it did make it into the show, I imagine that's going to be the big reveal, which unfortunately the comic book reading public already knows. Fox is apparently moving forward with the unnamed X-Men drama we've heard about. According to Deadline, the unnamed series is close to a pilot order.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it's being done by the creator of Burn Notice, Matt Nix. The show replaced the planned Hellfire Club series, which was aborted by Fox in favor of Nix's new idea. The show is supposed to focus on parents who go on the run from the government after discovering their children are mutants. It's not very clear if this show will be connected to the X-Men cinematic universe that Fox also owns. However, longtime X-Men film director Bryan Singer is executive producing the show.
Huh, okay.
Children who are mutants going on the run.
Wow.
That sounds like so many stories in comics already.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess this may be an original series with ties to X-Men properties, like either Generation X or New Mutants, but I doubt it's going to be a firm adaptation of any of it. I think Fox is basically making another Mutant X, if anybody remembers that show.
Barely. I know it exists. I never watched an episode of it.
Mutant X was an actual show that was based on X-Men. I think they actually bought the licenses to do it, but they swapped around a bunch of powers and character sexes, and they created a supposedly original show. It lasted like 3 seasons, and it mystified me how it lasted that long. I was a kid when it came out, and I was done in 3 episodes. I did not think it was good storytelling. I was positive of that. Now we have DC Media News. We talk about the other major company and their properties that are headed to multimedia now and in the near future. One of the first images from the Justice League film that shows the nearly united team has come out. And as much as I would hope other items would come out about that, that was about the only piece of media that's come out so far in the Justice League film in the past week. I sent you guys the image so you can take a look. It is definitely Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, The Flash, and Aquaman on some kind of steamy platform.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. I remember how much they need color in this.
The palette is still a bit muted, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Flash's costume still reminds me of one of those Play Arts Kai figures from Square Enix.
Yeah.
You know, it really looks like somebody put plates on him and then tied them together with zip ties or something.
You know, you could make the lightning bolt stand out more.
Could. His head looks huge in that costume. I know it shouldn't, but it does.
Cyborg looks very small.
Cyborg?
Yeah.
He might be standing backwards a little bit, but his
entire body is CG.
I know that. His entire look here, though, it looks very haphazard to me. It looks like somebody just assembled him and it's just not working. He looks like RoboCop without all of his outer plating.
Or Terminator with too much stuff.
Jason Momoa looks pretty impressive, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing with his character, but he looks impressive.
And Batman looks like Batman, so, you know.
Batman's sad. You know, Gal Gadot, I know she's Wonder Woman and everything, but I hope this is a production photo and not an actual movie still, because the way she's standing there just says, God, I hate these guys.
Yeah, I was looking at that, I was like, should I say something?
I just don't feel like swinging my sword today. You know what? It's my time. I'm taking 5 days off. Screw you all. The way she's standing, she just looks not even relaxed, just upset. Man, I really hope this is just a production still. Warner Brothers is moving forward with their ideas for a Green Lantern Corps film. They are describing it as Lethal Weapon in Space, according to Deadline. The story will reportedly focus on Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Stewart is described as a Marine sniper, tying his reported film backstory to his current comic book origin.
I thought he was an engineer.
No. He was a Marine engineer. He was a sniper first, who eventually moved on to engineering.
Oh, okay.
The script is based on a story by David Goyer and Jeff Johns. Johns, I trust as a writer. David Goyer, you know, I know I keep going back to it, but it bothers me that he believes the She-Hulk was created just so the Hulk could find something to have sex with.
Oh, he's that guy.
That's the guy, yeah. So that tells me he may know how to make TV shows, but he definitely doesn't read comics worth a damn. I don't know. What would you think of Hal Jordan and John Stewart doing Lethal Weapon in Space? I mean, if they're true to their comic book characters, that would still make the black guy the calmer of the two.
Yeah, and the white guy being the crazy, insane one.
Yeah. You know, the test pilot who takes all the risks. What are your opinions on that? Because I have mixed feelings.
I think this would have been better if they actually started off with Hal Jordan and Sinestro, and then bringing Jon Stewart after Sinestro's defects.
Well, it's still not clear where in the timeline all this is happening. It's got to fit into the DC cinematic, so Hal Jordan cannot be the Rookie by this time. He would have at least had to have been operating for a while.
Yeah. But wouldn't that make, if that were the case, wouldn't Jon Stewart be the Rookie then?
Not even. He could have been around for a while. Again, we don't know where in the timeline this is.
Yeah.
And how much Warner Brothers has done. For all we know, Jessica Cruz could already be firmly beginning her training as a Green Lantern at this point, along with Simon Baz. I don't know if Batman's ever had a chance to meet Guy Gardner yet.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a lot of history to just take on assumption.
I know, but I think we've reached that point in comic books or at least comic book films where you can do that. I mean, after all, Marvel is deciding to move forward with Spider-Man as Spider-Man, not the third retelling of his origin story at this point.
Yeah, no, and that's fine.
And we've also seen that Warner Brothers is starting pretty much in the middle as far as their cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Starting Spider-Man as Spider-Man, it doesn't carry the same. It just seems like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just not as familiar with Green Lantern, so I kind of need the backstory to know where the hell they're going with this. But yeah,
well, there is backstory available. You just have to stay awake through a very bad movie.
Are they actually keeping that movie canon?
Not as far as I know.
Well, then it doesn't really matter.
It's still his backstory, though.
Not really.
It's pretty much the same. I mean, no matter how it's told, animated or film, Green Lantern crashes to space, gives his ring over to Hal Jordan. Jordan learns fast.
Yeah, but to bring in multiple Green Lanterns from Earth, that's what I'm concerned with. I understand the original Green Lantern's origin.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see an origin film. I just don't think it's necessary since all Green Lanterns pretty much have the same power set, just different.
Well, I don't even necessarily
think
we need an origin film. I'm just a little concerned with the fact that they're just like, oh look, there's multiple Lanterns from Earth now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that things have been introduced midstream.
I don't know. That we'll see how it goes, I guess, or not.
You know?
I
mean, even Marvel's guilty of that. The Black Widow and Hawkeye showed up in full costume.
That's true. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to wait before they get much further into this before I even commit to going to see it.
Mm. Well, Dwayne Johnson, he's a guy that I think most people would trust when it comes to his word in movies.
Yeah.
He's definitely made money for a lot of people. He's very entertaining lately, been in a pretty highly acclaimed animated film at least. And he took to Instagram recently, and he was very light on spoilers in the fact that he's playing Black Adam soon for the Shazam film. But he talked about other things in regards to DC. He said, quote, had a very cool and strategic meeting with the heads of DC about their entire universe. As a hardcore DC fan, to get a real sense of the tonal shifts and developments coming in these future movies has me fired up. Something we as DC fans have all been waiting for a very long time. Hope, optimism, and fun, unquote.
Fun?
Yeah, he did mention he got a real sense of tonal shifts. Which has been highly needed, in my opinion. You know, I mean, goodness knows the image we just saw of the Justice League made it seem like Zack Snyder's claws are still firmly entrenched here. He went on to say, quote, even when talking about the most ruthless villain / anti-hero of all time finally coming to life, prepare yourselves, DC Universe, kneel at his feet or get crushed by his boot, #Black Adam, unquote. You know, and Johnson is a guy who's pretty honest with what he thinks. He's the one who called out Vin Diesel specifically from the set of the last Fast and Furious film. What's it called? The Fate of the Furious, I think?
I don't know.
He basically took to social media and said that every woman he worked with on the set was a joy to be with. Some of the men, not so much. People questioned him, and he admitted that he was talking specifically about Vin Diesel, calling him lazy candy ass to the public. He does not shy away from giving his opinion, honestly. The Shazam film is currently scheduled for a release of April 5th, 2019, but Warner Brothers appears to be shifting around a lot of their release dates, so it's hard to tell if they're going to be able to fulfill that promise. The DC CW properties, or the DCW, does have some good news this week. They have renewed all of their shows.
Okay.
DC has already renewed The Arrow, which will enter into Season 6, Legends of Tomorrow for Season 3, The Flash for Season 4, and Supergirl for Season 3. All shows have been renewed already. They must have been happy with the ratings they were getting. I still watch Supergirl on and off. I watch The Flash pretty regularly. The other two shows, I've tried. I've really tried, but I can't do it.
I'm starting to lose interest with Flash, and that's disappointing to me.
You know, I can see that simply because The Flash is his own worst enemy all the time. Between his weird self-doubt and how often he plays with time and screws everything up, the Flash is the biggest villain in his universe. You know, Supergirl is a nice ray of sunshine, however, it's really saccharine. You know, I have to watch something dour and depressing beforehand. Maybe that's why Game of Thrones is such a good companion for Supergirl. But The Flash has announced that they are getting a major villain returning for... at least soon, I would say. The Black Flash is coming. And I don't know if that means the return of Zoom in a different form or if it's another character. But the Black Flash is basically the epitome of death in the Flash's universe.
Oh.
He's a Grim Reaper for speedsters. He sends them back into the Speed Force upon their death. So the Black Flash is more of a personification of death than just your simple villain grabbing people, tying them to something, and running really fast.
Screw it with time enough times, he's going to come after you.
Well, so far those have been time wraiths or some other weird item that haven't been well explained yet in that show.
Have you been really well explained in the comics?
I don't read Flash comics. I could not tell you.
Okay.
But believe it or not, Constantine is getting new life.
Really?
Yes. The CW has hired Matt Ryan to again play John Constantine in a new animated show.
Oh. Justice League Dark?
No. It's going to be a digital-first animated show for the CW Seed, which is their online network. It's joining the current animated shows Vixen and the upcoming DC Freedom Fighters The Ray, according to The Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
So, yes, he is going to play Constantine again. Maybe not on the silver screen, but definitely in animation. It's going to be produced by David Goyer, Greg Berlanti, and Sarah Schechter. No mention is made of the NBC showrunner Daniel Cerrone being involved with this animated project. You know, Constantine could have been a great show if NBC did not over-micromanage it. But an animated format may be a better place for a character like Constantine. You know, you don't have to worry as much about effects. You can really make it gory since the online networks have little to no censorship rules. You can get really freaky with the show. Any opinions?
I've seen Vixen, not a big fan of it.
So I probably still won't watch it. I'm just uninterested.
Okay, well, last up in DC media news, we found out that there's been another change to the Powerless television show.
Another one?
Remember, yes, it originally started as an office comedy about an insurance company within the DC universe. That did not work very well in its first few viewings, so the pilot has been reshot, and the show's coming to air now as a show about a fictional R&D division within Wayne Enterprises.
Right.
And now it turns out Alan Tudyk's character has been changed in the show, too.
I didn't even realize he had a character in the show.
Yeah, he originally played the person running the insurance company for the owner of it, who I believe was his father. He was there because of nepotism, playing a character named Del Heller.
Okay.
Now, he is running the R&D department, and his name is Van Wayne.
Really?
What?
He is a cousin of Bruce Wayne, and he now runs Wayne Security, another subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises. Apparently, it's been seen in some clips that have been passed around to the reviewers that Van occasionally talks to his cousin on the phone and calls him B-dubs.
No!
I wish that was a joke, because it would be much funnier if it was. Now, this is confusing a lot of comic book readers simply because, as you know, in the comic books, Bruce Wayne does not have a lot of surviving relatives in the Wayne side of the family. There's a few Kanes that have survived, obviously.
Yeah.
But, from his dad's side of the family, he doesn't really have any. He's the last man, as far as I know. Well, other than his son, of course, Damian. But, yeah, he is now being called Van Wayne. Opinions?
Think they're forcing something.
I will not watch this either.
Yeah, I don't plan on watching this.
I may check the pilot to see how it's changed, but I really don't. I don't intend to be, or I don't plan to be, a long-term viewer of the show. Which is sad because I love Alan Tudyk, man. His show Con Man makes me laugh hard, but this does not sound like intelligent or even fun comedy. And I'd like to give everything a chance, but this sounds kind of horrendous. If they're going to change his name around to something everyone can recognize, couldn't they, I don't know, made his middle name Washington or something just for har-hars? Be fun to watch him play Wash again. Next up is general media news. That's where we talk about nerdy properties that are not Marvel and DC related, but will still probably entertain nerds around the world. George Lucas has decided to set up a museum based on his own collection.
So he's going to move Industrial Light and Magic? Or?
No. This is his collection. It's going to be the George Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. George Lucas actually has an extensive collection of movie and multimedia memorabilia.
I would imagine he would.
Well, there's been some debate because for the last 2 years, cities around the U.S. have been vying to get this museum, and it came down to two in California. And those two fought it out, and George Lucas made a decision based on it, and believe it or not, he's going to set up his museum in Los Angeles.
Huh.
It's going to go down next to Exposition Park near the University of Southern California, where Lucas himself actually graduated in film school. And George Lucas himself is funding the entire museum out of pocket.
Okay.
He's filling it with his personal art collection, which includes paintings, film artifacts, and a whole lot of one-of-a-kind Star Wars stuff. There's a couple renderings of what it looks like. It kind of looks like from the top, it almost looks like a starship from Star Trek touched down and they just put plants on it. Want to see the rendering?
Yeah. It would give some context.
It's going to go right next to the Olympic Coliseum in USC, where the Rams are currently playing, and it's kind of impressive looking.
Yeah.
I didn't lie. It looks like a starship touched down and they just put a park on it.
Yeah.
It'd be really great to get some lighting for all the railings.
Oh,
or something to show all the lines.
It's just nifty that this is coming at the same time that that Kickstarter project, the Hollywood Sci-Fi Museum, is also working on its own project out there. Man, LA is going to have some interesting museums coming up soon.
Oh, where are they going to be located at?
I don't remember. I would have to look that up. I know the Kickstarter was successful. They earned the money they need to. I think they're still taking donations for the sake of upkeep and furthering their eventual event planning. In regards to Lucas and his creations, word is that in Star Wars Episode 8, there will be some TIE fighters returning. The early word is that there is intention to use the TIE bombers and a new version of the TIE Interceptor that Darth Vader famously used. Apparently, Kylo Ren is going to continue his fanboying of his grandfather in all things that Darth Vader did by having his own personal TIE Interceptor. The ships will not so much resemble the TIE Strikers that were seen in Rogue One with the fuselage being pill-shaped. There will be some similarities to the TIE Fighter design seen in The Force Awakens. Nothing?
Sorry, I'm doing some research here, looking at the two different TIE fighters. Because the TIE Interceptor and Vader's TIE are different, definitely different vehicles.
Okay.
But
TIE bombers were introduced in The Empire Strikes Back. They were the ships that were dropping bombs trying to flush out the Millennium Falcon in the middle of an asteroid. And they burned his belly.
I do remember that one.
Yep.
I don't see a problem with them bringing them back.
Yeah, I mean, what
if
would be the problem, I guess, would be the better question.
Actually, I think Vader's ship was a TIE Interceptor. It was a prototype of the line.
I think so.
Yeah. That just occurred to me. I forgot that. And Woody Harrelson has confirmed that he has gotten the role of Han Solo's mentor in the Han Solo spin-off movie.
Interesting. Have they actually cast the young Han Solo yet?
Yes, that Alden Ehrenreich has been cast as young Han Solo. Donald Glover is young Lando Calrissian. Emilia Clarke is in an unnamed role. For all I know, she's young Yoda. According to Harrelson himself, he told Mashable, quote, "I'm a mentor to Han, but I'm also a bit of a criminal. I don't think I should say much more than that because the Force is not allowing me," unquote. At least he has a sense of humor about it. Are you planning on watching the new Ghost in the Shell film?
I am
thinking about it.
Interested, but
I'm on the fence.
So not, yeah.
That film currently comes out on March 31st. The reason why I bring that up is because according to Deadline, the 1995 Ghost in the Shell animated film will be brought back to theaters in a limited run to help promote the upcoming live action. So people who may not be familiar with it could actually get a side-by-side comparison of the two. Well, not side-by-side, but at least recent one. The limited run of the animated film will occur February 7th and 8th in select theaters. The original animated film was directed by Mamoru Oshii. He adapted the original manga by Masamune Shirow. And the animated film served as a direct inspiration for the upcoming live-action film. A lot of the scenes from the trailer correspond to scenes from the animated movie. I might have to do that. I mean, I have the Ghost in the Shell, but it'd be kind of interesting to see it all up on the screen, then go see it again and find out how much they adapted, how much is new, and all that. Netflix actually has a new show coming out next week. No, 2 weeks from now, actually. Have you heard of iBoy?
iBoy.
Yep. I'm not talking about the X-Men character with the eyes.
Okay. First thing
That was the only
mind.
thing that I could think of. But
No, it's small I, capital B-O-Y. The storyline is about a young boy who gets involved with a girl who's being harassed by some thugs. They chase him while he's on his cell phone and shoot him through the cell phone into the side of the head. He survives, but chunks of his cell phone are lodged in his brain, and apparently it's pseudoscience. But after you get past the weird origin story, apparently the chunks of the cell phone allow him to actively interact with wireless networks everywhere.
Interesting.
So he can see what people are viewing on their phones from a distance. He can see digital communications leaping up into the sky. He views things as pure information, and he can manipulate things that can be controlled remotely. Like I said, the synopsis doesn't sound great, but I saw the trailer. It's actually kind of cool. The love interest in the show is being played by Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark in Game of Thrones, and might be Wolfsbane in the New Mutants film. Want to see what I saw?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I sent the video. That's a whole lot of chatter.
With no end in sight to this wave of crime.
So it sounds like it's going to be a British show.
Everyone knows you fancy Lucy since forever.
Or British-based, anyway.
Tom, come by later, yeah?
Sure.
It's amazing to think that
Lucy?
how short Maisie Williams is, but she can be a firecracker. And here's the scene where he gets shot, which is probably the single most unbelievable part of it, you know?
You were very lucky. Firm fragments here and here miss the temporal lobe.
Will there be side effects?
If anything unusual happens, I want you to let me know straight away.
Will there be side effects? You're British. There's always side effects. Now you can see him starting to interact with things.
yeah.
Look, a blue police box.
Kind of reminds me of Lucy.
A bit. It's not quite as cryptic.
Should have done something.
And the fact that it's a show gives it more time to have a story.
Actually, it kind of reminds me of one of the characters from Alphas.
They were there.
Power-wise, anyways.
At Lucy's.
Yeah. But this one is more direct in his control. He doesn't just read, he interacts, as you can see.
Some sort of vigilante or something. He's trying to take on the garage.
You can blow things out, lit that car on fire. Blew out speakers?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he's managing that, though.
You don't call the devil, then get upset when he turns up.
Power overloads, I would imagine.
Oh, where is Lucy? I'm gonna burn your world down.
They won't get away with it.
It is a little bit of a creepy concept when you realize how much technology is involved in our daily lives these days.
And how instant access you can get to information to destroy a person.
You're a special kid, Tom. A special kid.
So that comes out January 27th on Netflix.
Okay, that looks fascinating.
That made me suitably curious. Yeah. And last up in general media news, I have a list from ScreenRant.com. It's called the 15 Best Transformer Stories of All Time.
Transformers,
yeah, I know, this is in your wheelhouse. But it's not simply based on either the cartoon or comic books. This is across all Transformer stories. It's put together by Edward Cambro from Screen Rant. I know you're curious. Steve, do you care?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. You know, I watched Transformers when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, the number 15 on this list is from the original cartoon, The Five Faces of Darkness.
Is that when they bring in the Quintessons?
Yes, that is the five-parter that pretty much introduced the TV viewing public who hadn't seen Transformers the movie to the new status quo. And it also introduced Marissa Fairborn, who is a G.I. Joe descendant, to the show. It's so weird that...
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No.
Do you know who Marissa Fairborn is a descendant of?
No.
I think it's Janeway?
No.
AJ?
No. Flint.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's Flint's, I want to say, daughter or granddaughter. I can't remember what his first name is, but his family name is Fairborn.
Yeah.
It's the usual rules. Tell me if you want me to read synopses, otherwise I'll go on.
All right.
Number 14 on this list is a Marvel UK story. So it's Marvel Comics back when they had the original Transformers license. And the storyline is called Space Pirates.
Space Pirates.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't read Marvel's UK lines growing up, so I'm a little bit clueless myself.
Yeah,
you
I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay. Quote, the Great War eventually became a three-pronged war. Autobots versus Decepticons versus the Quintessons, an alien species with ties to the histories of the Transformers race. While not a physical threat themselves, the Quintessons are clever, manipulative, and boast their own army. Each issue finds the Transformer factions repeatedly fooled, trapped, and under attack. The stakes are raised with every cliffhanger, from fan-favorite Blaster being killed to the Decepticon base getting razed, and the Matrix being stolen from Rodimus Prime. Desperate, the Autobots and Decepticons join forces. Metroplex saves the day, but the moment doesn't feel as pat as the trope often does. The good guys earned a hard win at the last minute, but this isn't the key point of the story. Rather, it shows how great of a threat the Quintessons are and creates an important moment in Transformers lore. Ultra Magnus and Soundwave attempt to talk peace between the Autobots and Decepticons. Both characters are the most rational of their respective camps, and while their exchange is brief, with a great homage to the Killing Joke, it becomes clear that there can never be peace because both species have committed atrocities against the other. Despite whatever presumed binaries of good and evil, neither side can claim the moral high ground anymore. The war will continue because it has to. It's a bleak ending, especially for a comic marketed towards children, unquote.
Damn.
That sounds like a great story, but, you know, when would this have come out? Like the frickin' 80s.
Yeah.
The storytelling is going to be really dated.
Maybe, and I don't recall the art being all that fantastic either.
The UK Transformers comics, if I remember, a lot of it resembled like the first 20 issues of the American Transformers comics, which was not a good comparison.
Yeah.
Number 13 on this list is from Dreamwave Comics. They had a short-lived run of Transformers. What is it, about 18 months, I think?
Yeah, I have one of their posters hanging in my room.
I love Dreamwave, man. I think their stories were terrific, and this is one of their stories, a miniseries called The War Within.
Oh, okay. I got like maybe 4 of those issues somewhere.
I read all of it, and it was amazing. Read or move?
Read.
Okay. Quote, The War Within marks an interesting point in Transformers history. The more than 20 years of comics and TV shows, audiences were never given a look at the early days of the Great War. There would be flashbacks or references, but this series was the first to explore and explain that era. Changes are made to pre-existing story elements to keep from being predictable. The best change was Don Figueroa's redesign of the pre-Earth Transformer bodies and vehicle modes.
Oh, those are fun.
Some story elements don't quite feel right, however. Optimus Prime's rewritten origin as the cowardly data analyst Optronics doesn't jive in the space given for the hero's journey. IDW would give him a more sensible origin as a police captain, but that's another story. Writer Simon Furman also hits the magic reset button hard, creating a plot hole, taking back a number of revelations thanks to brain surgery. Why not just kill the prone Megatron instead? However, given the otherwise strong quality of the series, it's excusable. Furman's focus is on character and world building rather than the plot in The War Within. He gives us some sweeping looks at the crumbling societies in Cybertron, the cultures, the traditions, the history, so that the loss of it in the wars and the quakes feels real. In the world meant to feel massive, full, and complete, though not everything was entirely explained, you know that's because there were still more stories to tell. Unfortunately, Dreamwave's bankruptcy never allowed for that, unquote. They did have to drop certain Transformers stories cold simply because the whole company collapsed. I always loved their redesign of the Cybertronian Dinobots, man. Those were wicked.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
They were basically all tanks and assault vehicles.
You know, heavy armor things.
Yeah. Number 12 is a Beast Wars episode.
Which one?
People seem to get surprised when Beast Wars... I think of Beast Wars as pretty much the best Transformers series they've ever put together.
I've enjoyed the hell out of it.
But this particular one for number 12 was the Transmutate episode.
Transmutate.
Yes.
I don't recall that one.
Oh, it was one of the saddest episodes in the whole damn show.
Really?
Steve remembers it because I used to watch that thing like ad nauseum when he and I were sharing an apartment in Stockton.
Yeah.
Quote, week to week, Beast Wars was either dead serious or blithely campy. This episode falls into the former category. A childlike but immensely powerful Transformer, the Transmutate was considered a single threat. When it can't be convinced to join either side, Megatron wants it destroyed. Optimus Primal wants it put into stasis. Rampage, the evil cannibal with an unkillable spark, sees the Transmutate as a kindred spirit. So does Silverbolt, a Fusor with the qualities of both a dog and a bird. I think he was a wolf, but okay.
Yeah.
The two are the strangest characters on the show, and often isolated because of it. The rest of the episode comes down to Rampage and Silverbolt vying for the Transmutate's soul. If it survives, their own lives will be less lonely. In turn, they could give it the affection and sense of belonging they never had. If this was a lighthearted episode, the Transmutate would survive, Waspinator would get blown apart, and we'd all have a good laugh. But rules are rules, and this isn't a lighthearted episode. The Transmutate sacrifices itself to save its mentors, leaving the episode on the darkest ending of the series. The episode does what sci-fi does at its best. It takes a far-fetched concept and applies humanity to it through an allegory. For kids, it's a lesson about acceptance. To all those who always felt like an outsider, the script isn't open enough for anyone to apply their own experiences to it, unquote.
I don't remember this episode.
Ah, it was dark as hell. You know,
I thought I'd seen them all. Shit.
No, there was a few chuckles in it, but that was that was deep. Item number 11 is another Marvel UK storyline, The Matrix Quest.
Shoot.
Okay. As a confrontation with Unicron looms, Optimus Prime sends out groups of Autobots to find the Creation Matrix, which could kill the giant Planet Eater. Matrix Quest exists out of necessity and could have easily been phoned in. At worst, it could have been a time killer. Admittedly, in a lot of ways, but Simon Furman's scripting makes the story a great deal of fun. While many Transformer stories end up in very dark territory, Matrix Quest is lighter. The different places the Autobots travel allow Furman to pay homage to the Maltese Falcon, Moby Dick, Shane, Alien, and Jaws, and adds colors to the Transformers universe. Each chapter is mostly self-contained and obviously designed with affection for each genre explored, particularly the hardboard detective fiction with Furman's favorite character, Nightbeat. In between is the subplot of the warring brother gods Primus and Unicron and how they created the Transformers race, carefully setting the table for the brutal story to come. While Matrix Quest doesn't change the status quo, its tone and mythic revelations would influence Transformers writers for years to come, unquote. It almost sounds like a central story in Transformers history. And I would guess this is where Nightbeat started as all of his subsequent stories as a hard-boiled detective. That's a role he's pretty much enjoyed all the way through to today. Item number 10, it's another Dreamwave storyline called War and Peace. This one I'm not as familiar with this one. Quote, Dreamwave stories get a bad rap in the fandom. Yes, Pat Lee's artwork is a block mess, and sometimes the fan services make the work feel like fan fiction. War and Peace does suffer from these flaws, but the references are more organic and support the narrative rather than distract from it. The plot finds the Autobots and Decepticons forced back to a united Cybertron where factions no longer exist. Much of the story is devoted to the underbelly of this new utopia and making Ultra Magnus interesting. He goes from a stoic soldier to an assertive but conflicted leader. It's a story of secret histories and shifting allegiances and how they affect relationships. Of particular note is the relationship between Prime and Magnus and the multiple references to them being brothers. It's impossible to not feel like a kid seeing Ultra Magnus' armor slip off and reveal the white Optimus Prime underneath, just like the toy version. It's impossible not to love seeing the GoBots melted into scrap or learning that grizzled veterans Cup and Ironhide are old friends. Even the wink and nod to the conflicted loyalties of Mirage and Thundercracker or the Dion Magnus story are worth a smile. War and Peace is clearly made with love, and would likely have landed higher on the countdown had it not been so compressed. You can see the vision that writer James McDonough had, and it's a shame he didn't get the space he needed or the time to answer the mysteries he created, unquote. I need to go back and find out if there's collected versions of the Dreamwave Transformers comics.
Yeah.
I'd like to think there's something out there. But number 9 on this list is actually from an ongoing Transformers comic book. It's from IDW.
Okay.
These are 22 and 23 of their current run, and it's called Chaos Theory.
Chaos Theory.
Yeah. Yay or go?
Go. Do it.
Go means go on. You want me to go on?
No. Read it.
Oh, you confused me there.
Yeah.
Quote, Chaos Theory is a prelude story that is better than the event that follows. Almost entirely plotless, this character-driven two-parter layers the Prime-Megatron relationship in a way no story had before. In the present, Optimus Prime and a captured Megatron have a long-overdue discussion about their lives spent at war. In the past, we learned of their humble beginnings. Optimus is Orion Pax, police captain, and Megatron is a blue-collar worker-turned-activist. They form the beginnings of a friendship and fight the corrupt council together. In the present, they vent their millions of years of frustration at one another. They rant and rave. They even share a laugh. They are written to be fully self-aware of the ridiculous nature of the war they fight and their own roles within it. Their enmity is defined now as something personal in a way just beyond the fighting. It was about the death of what could have been a friendship. It was bitterness at the old guard for creating a system so corrupt that they both had to choose different paths to oppose it, which led them to eventually oppose the other. Megatron, the benevolent dictator. Prime, the freedom and all-cost soldier. Most telling, however, is the fact that neither one will apologize for any wrongdoing over the course of the Great War, unquote.
Damn.
That sounds like a really self-aware story.
I want to read that.
Issues 22 and 23.
22 and 23 of what? Yep. Which one?
Of IDW's current run of Transformers.
Okay, all right.
Next up on the list is Time Wars from the Marvel UK. That's number 8. Yes.
Read.
Okay. Quote, invariably, Transformers finds a way to muck with time. In Time Wars, the future Autobots and Decepticons travel to the past to stop a time rift from destroying Cybertron. During this, Optimus Prime considers the morality of killing the captured Scorponok. Is cold-blooded murder permissible in this situation? Is it worth losing everything Optimus Prime stood for? The future and past Autobots meet for the first time and, thinking the other to be enemies, fight. While it's commonplace for superheroes, or even Decepticons, to fight each other, it's rare for Autobots to do so. This rarity makes the battle feel special and the circumstances dire. We already know time is falling apart, and now so are our heroes. Tensions are raised even further when it's revealed that Megatron and his future self, Galvatron, have teamed up and are causing the time rift. Together, they're such a severe threat that both factions must unite against them. The story climaxes with a brutal fight between Optimus Prime and Galvatron, and a set of heroic sacrifices by the Decepticons show a more balanced look at the opposing side rather than the simple binary of good versus evil. Serving as the final chapter in a spiritual trilogy preceded by Target 2006 and Space Pirates, Time Wars mixes high tension with relevant questions of war conduct, unquote. I don't know how much research I can do on the old UK Transformers lines, man. That's not exactly accessible to me. Number 7 on this list is probably going to make a few people laugh. Because, again, this is a list by ScreenRant.com of the 15 best Transformers stories of all time. Number 7 is Transformers the Movie from 1986. Hey, I watched that film ad nauseum growing up.
Yeah, and I watched it recently when it came out on Blu-ray. Anyways, I understand why people hate Hot Rod now.
Yeah. I mean, it's well animated. It's not the best story because basically Hasbro was trying to kill off old characters so they could make new toys. That's right. Not really a secret.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
I hated them for it.
Yeah, but it wasn't a deep story, but it was visual candy. It was really good visually. It actually won an award. Dude, it won an award at Anime Expo in 1993 for best. 93 for best animated film.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Japanese film after all.
Oh, right.
I take it I can skip it?
Yeah.
Okay. The one interesting point in the whole thing was that the death of Optimus Prime in the movie was so traumatic to children. That's what made Hasbro change their idea of killing Duke in the G.I. Joe movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense, though.
Well, yeah, I mean,
still.
you know, the way they suddenly say when he collapses in Scarlett's arms, oh my god, he slipped into a coma. Really, Doctor? I didn't know you were so astute at medical medicine, you and your crossbow.
Despite the fact how graphically showed that's going through him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That final scene at the end when Doc radios them while they're all waking up. Oh my god, Duke's come out of his coma. He's going to be okay. No one cares. Number 6 on this list is another Transformers 1984 cartoon episode, Starscream's Brigade. I loved this episode growing up. Do you want me to read, or do you want me to go on?
Is this the one with the Combaticons?
It is.
Oh, okay.
This is the debut of the political prisoners who became the Combaticons.
What does he have to say about it?
Okay. Quote, Starscream is the greatest Decepticon of them all. He's manipulative, resourceful, untrustworthy, brilliant, and merciless. In Starscream's Brigade, we finally get to see him use these terrible traits. He threatens his way onto Cybertron and steals personality components from a large set of filing cabinets. That's literally what they were. These personality components are the brains of political prisoners Megatron had arrested and put into stasis. There are thousands. Starscream then grabs a handful and builds his own army. Before he leaves, he blasts the room, killing off the rest of the prisoners. That's right, Starscream committed a mass murder in a children's cartoon. Starscream creates the Combaticons, but leaves out their energy absorbers. These are political prisoners, after all, and he needs to make sure they can be controlled. Without these absorbers, which now only Starscream has, they'd starve to death without his help. He attacks the Decepticons and forces Megatron to yield command and then beg for his life in front of everyone. Chris Latta's voice work is perfect, giving Starscream a cloying, joyous tone that made his depiction so iconic. The only reason this episode isn't higher on the list is that its second part falls so flat. The episode should have been spread out to explore Starscream's leadership of the Decepticons, rather than creating the jumbled mess that followed, unquote. The whole thing was undone in an episode, after all.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tend to do that to keep the status quo.
Yep. Number 5 is an IDW comic. However, it's one issue out of a particular run that's already over. All Hail Megatron issue number 15. This title of the story is Everything in Its Right Place. This has to do with one particular character. Yay or go?
Yay.
Quote, this entry's a strange one. It's technically a sequel to the Spotlight Cup one-shot from years prior, and it's also technically part of All Hail Megatron, but it isn't actually connected to the events of that story. The focus is placed on Prowl, a character who never really was defined beyond the term strategist. Prowl is driven by pure logic that is not tempered by morality, Machiavellian to the nth degree. His plans could end the Great War if the Autobots listen, but they're harsh and lack the romantic heroism that the Autobots generally go for. Through the narration, Prowl is shown to be mathematical down to the marrow. He predicts behavior to the percentage and manipulates others accordingly. He rebuilds Cup's broken mind. Cup is a maverick hero. He has the it factor, that personality that Prowl doesn't. Cup is the type of guy people would listen to. He fixes Cup, but adds a subroutine that will allow Prowl to plant his idea in Cup's heads. They'll be listened to then, and things will get done. So now when he speaks, Prowl notes, you won't even see my lips move. The narrative chooses not to judge Prowl's actions, merely relaying them, and allowing us to decide for ourselves if he's a hero or a villain, unquote.
He's creepy as fuck is what he is.
Yeah, he's a fucking Sith Lord.
Well, no, he doesn't want to sit on thrones. He just wants to end things in the quickest way possible. He's the ultimate pragmatist. There is no sacrifice too great to reach the end goal. Unfortunately, pragmatists without ethics are marauders. Exactly. Number 4 on this list of ScreenRants.com's 15 best Transformer stories of all time, it's Beast Wars.
Okay.
It's one particular episode. It's called The Agenda.
Oh. That's the season ender, isn't it?
It's the end of Season 2.
Oh, when you find the Ark?
Yes.
Yes. All right,
okay.
That was good.
Yep. Okay, so do you want me to read it or keep going?
What did they have to say for that?
God, you are such a fanboy. Quote, it's always more fun when the bad guys win. This three-parter is the climax of the series and of Transformers lore in general. The original series background finally comes to the foreground with the return of Ravage and the reveal of the Ark stuck in Mount St. Helen. These episodes move very quickly and each scene serves to change the plot, permanently shake up the status quo, or reveal important exposition of what's to follow. Still, there's never a sense as being rushed. For all of the callbacks to other episodes and tying in references to known lore, the episode never feels bogged down or stagnant either. Beast Wars added just the right amount of the mythology for the remix for the old fans without confusing new ones. The action is dynamic and inventive. You can't go wrong referencing Dr. Strangelove either. And the humor cracks a window in the tension without undermining it. Almost everyone gets a chance to shine, but this is really Megatron's show. He's the central character, and goes from the assured failure to complete victory. His megalomaniacal yet strangely sensible speech before he assassinates Optimus Prime highlights his evil nature, but also the reasons behind it. In his growling, fourth-wall-breaking final lines, Megatron changes history and confirms that he's the best incarnation of Megatron and superior to his namesake, unquote.
Yeah, I recall looking at some, lore about the show itself. And when they first made it, wasn't initially tied to the original series until that point.
Well, no, it was very tongue-in-cheek, and survivability of the show was not really assured until they changed tone like a quarter of the way into the first season. It was a pretty dopey, campy, and cheesy show until they found out that what they were doing, I think, and kind of rode with that camp for a little while. They went from trying to go directly at children, and then they just kind of figured out, if we make this more like Batman 66, we will survive. And it worked for them. Then occasionally they just wrote in actual storylines. Which brings me to item 3 on this list.
Uh-huh.
It's another Beast Wars episode, and it's the final one they talk about in this list.
Oh, please tell me it's Code of the Hero.
Well, technically it's called Code of Hero. There is no V in it.
Okay, so whatever. It's when Dynamite dies.
Yes. Read or go?
Read. I want to hear what they say.
Are you lighting candles as I do this or something?
Yes.
I get the feeling there's like a bottle of lubricant right next to your monitor right now.
Hold on, let me turn off the lights.
Oh, shut up! Quote, Beast Wars loved killing off characters, but Dinobot's death was a classic one, not only for the series but for the franchise overall. By the midpoint of Season 2, Dinobot was at an impasse. He had switched sides too many times in search of answers about himself and the world he was stranded on. Nobody trusted him. Surrounded by advanced transmetals, he was feeling obsolete. A real no country for old men type of deal. Dinobot's sacrifice was about acceptance, of the decisions he's made, of the changing face of the war around him, and that there can only be one ending for the life he had chosen. Dinobot ran a gauntlet of enemies much stronger than him, proving he was still a capable warrior, but also that he was hopelessly outmatched. Regardless, Dinobot fought off most of the Predacons by himself, saving the budding human race and destroying the Golden Disc, thereby making it so Megatron could no longer change the past. So he thought.
Yeah.
Finally, in his last grand soliloquy, Dinobot came to accept one last thing. His past. He asked the Maximals to tell his story truthfully, the good and the bad things he's done. In that moment of acceptance, he regained the honor he had lost in his previous betrayal. In his sacrifice, he became one of the greatest heroes in Transformers history. Unquote.
Yeah, I think I got that episode on DVD somewhere.
I have the whole series, actually.
Huh?
I have the whole series on DVD.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not telling you where they are. I plan on keeping them, thank you. I might bring a few with me if you ask nicely to Anime Los Angeles, but dude, no. Number 2 on this list, believe it or not, it's another Marvel UK story, and it's one that was mentioned in another part of the list.
Which
Target 2006.
Okay.
I imagine I have to because Marvel UK don't know. Quote, Target 2006 was supposed to be a cheap tie-in for the then upcoming 1986 animated movie. Instead, writer Simon Furman uses it as an opportunity to build a Transformers mythology. Concepts like the Matrix, Unicron, and a slew of new characters introduced in the movie are previewed and given depth here. Tension is derived from the mysteries as well as the ticking clock of Ultra Magnus stopping Galvatron before the Matrix flame dies. With Optimus Prime missing and Galvatron and his future Decepticons running roughshod in the past, Simon Furman takes further risks with the narrative. Megatron leads the Autobots to stop these new Decepticons, but nothing takes. Slowly, a showdown between Ultra Magnus and Galvatron builds. In short, the brave and rational Ultra Magnus represents order, while the psychotic and genocidal Galvatron represents chaos. Their enmity begins here and has been translated into almost every Transformers continuity thereafter. The battle they have in Target 2006 takes place over several chapters and takes advantage of the fewer violence restrictions since the characters aren't human. In the end, the story created fans of both characters, Galvatron for the insanity, Magnus for his resilience and refusal to stop. Furman virtually guaranteed continued readership, even after the movie came out and the previously established characters were killed, by producing an amazing preview of the characters to come. Target 2006 was meant to be filler, but instead became one of the most influential Transformers stories of all time. Unquote.
You
know, Galvatron was one of those things that from the cartoon it was difficult for me to latch onto because of how crazy they made him. This comic book sounds like it really kind of turned that up a bit to the point of rage. Because in the cartoon, he was just silly. You know, I have no need for strategy, or strategy is for cowards. It's like, wow, man, you really drank too much Mountain Dew before you headed out into the battlefield. But the last story of the 15 greatest Transformers stories of all time, it's an IDW comic book, believe it or not. But it is not a current story, it's a mini-series. It's one we've referenced a few times when we talk about Transformers. It's called The Last Stand of the Wreckers.
Oh.
Do you want me to read it?
Okay. I only heard it by name.
I've read it a long time ago. I forgot most of the details, I admit. Quote, widely considered to be the Watchmen of Transformers comics. Last Stand of the Wreckers takes the moral high ground the Autobots have and burns it to the ground. A group of D-listers infiltrate Garrus 9, a former Decepticon prison turned stronghold, to obtain something called the Equitus. Unfortunately, it's now run by half-crazed former prisoners led by Overlord, a maniac so vile, Megatron wants nothing to do with him, who runs Garrus 9 like Caligula ran Rome. The characters presented are largely glory seekers and wannabes. They've heard the stories of the Wreckers, the stalwart heroes that always snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and they want their own names marked down beside the greatest of them all. In the end, it's revealed that the stories were just stories, edited to look heroic. The truth is that war has made animals of them all. The glory is there for the civilians, for those who weren't there, to make it seem like it was worth it. Equitus is revealed to be one last cover-up of the truth. In seeing many of the popular Wreckers come back just to learn their secret history, the audience takes on the role of the D-listers. We all see our heroes as they really are. Just people. The power of The Last Stand of the Wreckers isn't in its incredible violence or strong character work, it's the question it raises. After seeing the things the Autobots have done, can you still call them the good guys? Unquote. It's a scary question. I remember reading it and thinking it was awesome, but I don't remember the details as to why. I imagine Jesse's like writing a ton of things down right now. Oh my god, he's using the lubricant. Stop him!
I don't know. He's pounding on the desk in there. I don't want to interrupt him.
Ew. Take all of his My Little Ponies away from him, stat.
That's a little too much work for one man.
Okay. Before he clogs his microphone, we're going to move on to Marvel comic news. That's where we talk about the Marvel characters and properties that are on or are heading to comic books now and in the near future. Remember we talked last week about Marvel changing its digital code redemption program? They were no longer offering gratis digital copies of their comic books. They were offering digital copies of other unrelated series to give people a chance to read other books, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, as a lot of people do when they're upset with a change, some fans have taken to change.org and made a petition.
Really?
They're actually upset that Marvel is giving you free new comic books digitally and instead want copies of the books that they just bought. According to the petition from user James McDonald of Calgary, Canada, which could be a pseudonym. After all, that's the name of Guardian from Marvel Comics. Quote, Marvel Comics has just decided to change how they run their digital code program. They will no longer give digital copies of the title purchase, but instead give a set of books each week. Please help have this decision changed to actually give fans/customers the best value for their money, unquote.
Free books.
It's still free, and it's a completely new story. To me, that's value. You know, granted, it's not what I bought, but at the same time, I get a chance to try something I might not have read before. Isn't that the best of both worlds?
Apparently not. Or at least not to everyone.
I'm like,
all right.
Free book. How much more value can you get than that?
I don't know. Well, I'm checking the petition now, and as of the time we record this, which is, what is today? Today is
14th.
The 14th. It has a goal of 1,000 before they submit it to Marvel for consideration. It currently has 605 signatures.
Halfway there.
Yeah, and this started as of January 10th. In other words, it sounds like there's not a significant amount of people that really care.
Again, free books. Yep.
It's kind of hard for you to tell them, give me the other free stuff.
Yeah.
That's not generally how it works. Marvel has released more teasers in regards to this new event coming called the Secret Empire. That storyline is being teased that has Captain America's chevron shield in the middle of it all. Or
right.
I should say Steve Rogers' chevron shield.
Yeah.
Over the past week, a group of teasers have been released. And they all have different words to add to it, which seems to imply different characters through the Marvel Universe. The first one is Trust the Secret Empire, which it sounds like a double negative. Trust the Secret Empire. The next one is The Secret Empire will champion you, which may reference the new teen team that Marvel has.
Yeah.
The next one, The Secret Empire will avenge you.
Uh-huh.
The Secret Empire will amaze you.
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. We live in exciting times in the Secret Empire.
I have no idea what that one's for.
We live in exciting times.
Oh. Boo!
The Secret Empire will defend you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they've released a final teaser just on Friday that says Secret Empire United We Stand. And it's an image that pretty much draws across characters from all over the Marvel Universe. As you can see, it does involve Captain America, but it also has Old Man Logan, the Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Rocket Raccoon, the Black Bolt, the Black Widow, and Deadpool. I don't know if Secret Empire is this team, if it unifies more of the Marvel Universe. I guess it would have to, based on the prior teasers. And I don't know if this is people rallying against Captain America's Secret Empire or becoming part of it to become something larger.
Maybe
because
they're being
again,
duped into it.
Well, you know, as I've stated before, who do you trust more in the Marvel Universe than Steve Rogers?
Exactly. He's going to make villains out of all of these guys.
Yeah, and they may not even know it.
Some of them don't care, but...
Well, there's still that weird secret project he has, that scientist he kidnapped working on.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his I forgot his name now. It was the same character from the Thor films. The older scientist, the gentleman.
I can't think
I
of his name.
can't remember his name.
I can't remember the character name at this point. Eric Selvig. Oh my god, I pulled it out of my butt. So there's still that weird project he's working on that still hasn't been named yet. That may be part of it. But in a move that was almost expected, but I wasn't sure if it would happen, it's one of those cases where the tail has wagged the dog. Because of the success of the Netflix series, Marvel Comics is producing a new Defenders series starring the same characters from the Netflix shows. Daredevil, Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. And it's being done by the former artist of Invincible Iron Man, David Marquez, and the guy who's helped him write several, or the guy he's partnered with on several series, Brian Michael Bendis, is going to be writing this one.
Cool.
If you think that's unimportant, keep in mind, Brian Michael Bendis is the creator of Jessica Jones. That's his.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of, well, not
that's good news.
Circle, but yeah.
Well, Jessica Jones, yes, it highlighted a character, or he brought in a character who he slipped into Marvel continuity pretty effortlessly. But keep in mind that not only did he introduce Jessica Jones, if it wasn't for the Alias series he was writing at the time, the Marvel Max imprint, that also reintroduced Luke Cage to readers in his more current role as a streetwise superhero rather than jive-talking tiara wearer. So he's responsible basically for the modern incarnation of Cage as well. I think this is good news. I would like to see this series. Goodness knows, we were really impressed when we read those first few issues of Invincible.
Yeah.
Speaking of tail wagging the dog, it's been announced this week that last week that Brian Michael Bendis is leaving Guardians of the Galaxy. He's made room for a new team with writer Jerry Dugan and Eris Cooter. They're starting the series All New Guardians of the Galaxy. And it appears that in this run, the team will make it back into space, and it is a character list that's very reminiscent of the current movie universe. Star-Lord, okay. Drax, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, and a very small Groot.
All right.
It has its own baby Groot in it. According to the new writer, quote, "We want to put these guys into new cosmic situations. We're right in the middle of a heist in the first issue. I think even though they're functioning well as a team, they're looking forward to handling their own business, so they might be feeling gravity's pull apart. They have a lot going on individually, and I'm really excited to explore that," unquote. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence on this because I like the permutation that Bendis put together with the Thing and Kitty Pryde in their ranks. Getting back to basics is not a bad thing. I guess I was just kind of getting used to where they took it.
Right.
Oh, and they had Angela, too, of course. I don't see Angela at all here. Now, here's a story where what's old is new again. Marvel is creating a new Scarlet Spider series.
Okay.
Out of the old Scarlet Spider series.
Okay.
Ben Reilly, the original clone of Spider-Man, is getting a new costume as he turns back into the Scarlet Spider.
Interesting.
That's something I never expected to hear. The artist is Mark Bagley. You know, he's kind of notorious for his Spider-Man work, especially in Ultimate Spider-Man. I sent you guys what was in the presser. This new costume, I don't mean it in a good way when I say it looks like something straight out of City of Heroes. He doesn't have the hoodie anymore, although the costume does have a connected hood to it. The arm decorations, the blue and red, are a little awkward to me. The belts, I'm okay with the belt. I'm okay with the blue in the middle. I'm okay with the spider symbol. The hood seems like a bit much, I guess. And I guess the worst part of this to me is the weird little smile Bagley's put on his face.
Yeah, that one's caught my attention. Like, what the hell?
If you take away the smile, I might be able to accept the rest of this. But the smile is, I don't know, it's ruining the whole thing for me. You guys got anything to add?
I can't take him seriously with that smile.
I get a definite spider-like feel from him with the way that his leg is positioned and so forth. But yeah, the costume itself, it seems like it should be like Kid Spider or something like that.
Yeah. Spider Boy. The hatchling.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I may have to try this either way, because while I'm not wild about the design, I am wild on the writer. You notice the name in the lower right there?
David, yeah.
Peter David is doing this. And his work that we've read so far in She-Hulk and X-Factor has really turned our heads, so I gotta try. Peter Parker, another clone of Peter Parker will have a supporting role in this series. Kane will appear in the book. He was the less balanced clone. And there's going to be a new villain named Cassandra Mercury who blames Ben Reilly for the death of her daughter. This new series, Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, will launch in April. And I put this in Marvel, even though it's not exactly a Marvel book, but it's kind of important. There's going to be a comic book adaptation of Rogue One, the Star Wars movie.
Okay.
All right.
But here's what makes it special. This comic book adaptation is going to have all the stuff that hit the cutting room floor put back in the story. It's basically a director's cut.
Oh. Okay, that might make the first half better.
Yeah, the writer is Jody Houser. The artist will be Emilio Laiso. And they're adapting the movie for a 6-part miniseries beginning in April that will explore other facets of the story for things that didn't make it into the film.
All right.
You know, I'm not much into adaptations, but considering this is going to add stuff that hit the cutting room floor, you got my attention. Not saying it's a for sure read, but you've got me to at least consider it.
Yep. I can't actually... I know they've done something like this before where they, go to comic books to actually tie into the movie, but I can't remember the last time they did that.
Maybe you're thinking of Escape from New York versus Big Trouble in Little China?
No.
So much Kurt Russell.
That they still haven't revealed, what he's going to be in Guardians of... Well, I mean, they have, but...
They have.
Released the trailer.
No, I'm still surprised, and we're, almost 3 months away from the release of the film. Give it time. There's still time for another trailer. Oh, now we have DC Comic News. We talk about the other major property and their characters and storylines that are happening now in the near future. Another event has been announced for DC Comic Books. It's going to be a 4-part crossover between Batman and The Flash, issues 21 and 22 of each series, and the storyline is called The Button. Button, who's got the button?
I was just thinking that.
Well, fortunately, it's not a case of who's got the button. We know who's got the button. Batman has the button.
Of course he does.
But the important part is what's on the button.
And why is Flash involved?
Because, as the world's greatest detective, you still need a forensic specialist as well as a seeker to find the information you need when it's not easy to obtain. And Batman right now trusts the Flash, especially since this may be the most important storyline they embark on since the rebirth. The button in question? Just a smiley button with a blood splatter on it.
Oh.
So, the characters of DC may not be aware of it yet, but this is the storyline that has them directly investigating the Watchmen and what happened to their missing time. For people that are unaware, Wally West returned to the DC universe and he brought with him a mystery that someone had weakened the entirety of DC's heroes by stealing almost a decade of their histories. There's not a better way to explain that, because after that you get into all this timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff and it just gets really complicated. But there's strong indications that the Watchmen, or more specifically, Dr. Manhattan at the very least, is behind it all. So what do you think? I think that makes for a good story. Batman and the Flash investigating the Watchmen.
Definitely works, fits with both of them. And you don't have to be the superheroes in order to do it. They just do their regular jobs.
Okay, well maybe this will help. The Button is being penciled by Jason Fabok, and it's being written by Tom King.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Sold.
Oh, yes.
Sold.
Each issue of the Button is going to feature a standard cover for the $2.99 edition, along with a lenticular cover for $3.99. All of it drawn by Fabok.
Lenticular?
According to DC's official description, quote, the two great detectives in the DC universe, no elongated man, unite to unravel the mystery behind a certain blood-stained smiley face button stuck in the Batcave wall. However, what begins as a simple investigation soon turns deadly when the secrets of the Button prove to be irresistible to an unwelcome third party, and it's not who anyone suspects. This is a mystery woven throughout time, and the countdown starts here, unquote. Countdown? That sounds like another Dr. Manhattan reference.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a shake-up on the Suicide Squad, but it's a positive shake-up. Because a man we've met is starting his job early. Originally, John Romita Jr. was supposed to take over Suicide Squad art duties as of issue 13, which comes out in March.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
DC has informed retailers that the artist apparently has worked so fast that he's beginning his work with February's issue 11.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
He's replacing the originally solicited artist, Riley Rosmo. Romita and his friend won't be alone. Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira will be drawing roughly 12 pages of each issue during a 5-issue arc. No reason was given for the early departure of Riley Rosmo. Newsarama is told that he has other DC projects to work on, however. The arc that John Romita Jr. is starting on is titled Bringing Down the House, which picks up directly after the events of the Justice League versus the Suicide Squad.
How did that end up going, by the way?
I haven't read it yet. The reviews are mixed. I've heard some people say it's just what DC needed to do for a first event for Rebirth. I've heard others say this is so typically comic book, it's not worth it.
Maybe we should look into it.
Eventually, but you know how I like to roll on those things. I don't want to get into it till after it's a full story so we can get a great opinion, you know. I don't mind reading 1 or 2 issues, but we tend to just say we haven't had enough.
So it's not finished yet?
No, issue 2 is out, and I believe it's a full story.
Okay.
According to the synopsis by DC, quote, hidden somewhere deep within the world is a burning flame. Its light is blinding. Its heat is deadly. It's a fire fueled by hatred, by rage, and by vengeance. It's Donald Trump's campaign. Used and abused and left for dead, the greatest foe the Suicide Squad has ever faced returns, more powerful than ever. To burn down the world, Amanda Waller has given everything to protect, unquote. Most powerful enemy they've faced so far. Well, Enchantress is still on the team, so I would guess that's General Zod. I mean, he would qualify as the most powerful thing they've seen by far. But, who knows? I didn't write it.
I just laugh at their use of Amanda Waller there. Everything she's given to... It's like, yeah, that bitch can fucking burn in hell. I really don't care.
There's a special place for her down there.
Yes.
Yeah, but, as you know, most things come to tend apart when they face the wall. Scott Snyder is beginning his second story arc in All-Star Batman number 6, and he's embarking on what could be an art project. He's going to link 4 separate, single-issue tales about several different villains in 4 different settings, and each issue is drawn by different artists and written in different styles, and all of it's supposed to be one story.
That sounds very confusing.
Yes. I know. This week's first issue kicks off with a story in a permafrost landscape drawn by Snyder collaborator Jacques, and it's a story all about Mr. Freeze. Then, issue 7, readers get to go to Death Valley and its desert landscape when Batman encounters a wholly different villain drawn by Tula Lotay, and her name is Poison Ivy.
What's she doing down there?
I don't know, but according to Snyder, that particular issue has a completely different structure and writing style that's, quote, very empty and there's no narration, unquote. So it's very much an in-the-moment type of story. Sounds like he's taken a very different approach to each issue. And it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, if executed well, this could be very good. If executed poorly, I really don't know where it would end up.
Yeah. Well, DC's Rebirth titles are now available on a Netflix-style service called Hoopla Digital. You guys familiar with this?
No.
I've never heard of Hoopla Digital. The first collections from Rebirth are available on Hoopla Digital. It's a new digital service offered through participating libraries in a Netflix-style presentation. Currently, it has DC Universe Rebirth Deluxe Edition, Green Arrow Volume 1, The Death and Life of Oliver Queen, and Superman Volume 1, Son of Superman. They're all available to read for free on smartphones, tablets, and computers for those with library cards from participating libraries. Oh, wow, so they're connected to libraries. Okay. Additional titles are forthcoming, according to Hoopla Digital. Per DC's Entertainment Senior VP of Sales and Trade Marketing, John Cunningham. Dear God, could you put any more words in that title? Quote, by teaming up with Hoopla Digital, we're able to reach a broader fan base and introduce new readers to the DC Universe. Libraries and their patrons are an important audience, and it's exciting to bring Justice League and Suicide Squad and many more titles to Hoopla Digital, unquote. Hoopla Digital is a service that partners with over 1,300 North American public library systems, including in Los Angeles, Boston, St. Louis, and Toronto.
Well, that's probably why I haven't heard about it, because I haven't gone to a library in ages.
Yeah, me neither, but I actually have one a couple blocks away. Maybe I'll go over there and see if they got it. And last up in DC comic news, Superman is getting a new costume in the current era. It's a lot like the current one, but it has some minor tweaks to it to make it a little closer to his pre-New 52 days. And again, this is still the pre-New 52 Superman who has made it into the current universe. I hear that the New 52 Superman, the Truth one, will return sometime soon. It's not vastly different from what he's wearing right now, other than the belt buckle being turned gold like his original costume. Or in his 80s costume at the very least. And the boots now, instead of being blue with a red trim, they are now solid red.
It's still red and blue.
It's still very much Superman, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have much of an opinion on it because it's a version of the character I'm not a fan of. It's a costume I'm not necessarily a fan of, but, it's something people will recognize very easily.
True.
52 was still recognized with this, even though different.
Yeah, but a lot of complaints were had about that costume because it wasn't the one a lot of people remember. And this one is closer to what mass market and casual comic book readers would remember.
Change happens, people.
Yeah, but people don't react well to change. We read that study.
Yep.
And now we have some general comic book and convention news. This is where we talk about comic books that are not Marvel or DC related, as well as conventions happening all around the world. I have no convention news this week. The first actual general comic story I have is one I've personally taken part in. Aspen Comics has actually teamed up with Marvel Comics to produce a special variant cover for Darth Maul #1, which is a Marvel series. It turns out that before he died, Michael Turner did a couple drawings of Star Wars characters, and one of them happened to be a profile shot of Darth Maul himself. Aspen has signed on to allow Marvel to make a variant issue using Michael Turner's original art. So this is a posthumous release. There were, according to Aspen, quote, only a small handful of contemporary Star Wars images Michael Turner illustrated before his passing. This exclusive AspenStore.com cover featuring the fearsome Darth Maul is an absolute must for any comic book, Michael Turner, or Star Wars fan. Colored for the first time by the incomparable Peter Steigerwald, the comic book galaxy just got a little bit deadlier with the release of this brand new Michael Turner Darth Maul exclusive cover, unquote. They produced only 3,000 copies of the color variant of the Darth Maul cover, and only 2,000 of the black and white sketch variants, which just went for sale today on AspenStore.com. I do not have the color variant. Would you like to see the black and white sketch variant, the more scarce one?
Sure. Yeah.
Dude, Michael Turner had a serious flair in his artwork, and he turned it off for this cover. He did not make Darth Maul look pretty. He made him look angry.
Mean.
He looks like he's about to rip something in half. It's a great cover. And
I got to say that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I actually spent the $40 and got myself both a color and black and white copy from the Aspen store today. It was a pre-order. It was a prepaid pre-order. The books themselves will be released in February. Because the books just went on sale today. They will be released or they went on pre-order today. They'll be formally released on February 1st. And it's one of those things where it's like, can I afford it? Can I afford it? Then I stared at those covers and said, you know what? This will never come again. As a matter of fact, let me check their status right now. And for a 2,000 copy book, they still have copies of it for sale on the Aspen website. You can get a set of both the color and black and white variants retailing at $30 for the pack. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Too bad I can't get it signed by Michael Turner without a damn time machine. Russia's largest comic publisher, Bubble, is expanding to North America with its new series, Second Wind. They're launching 4 ongoing series this month, all drawn by women. All 4 series interconnect in Bubble's current continuity, and they're scheduled to debut on Comixology throughout January. Bubble has quickly become Russia's largest homegrown comic publisher with over half a dozen monthly titles, including Major Grom, Friar, Red Fury, Demon Slayer, Exilibrium, and Meteora. And Bubble Studios, the company's own film studio, is releasing a movie based on Major Grom in February of this year. The 4 series being released this month are Allies, which is a spy drama, Demon Slayer, an action horror series, Igor Grom, a detective thriller, and Realm Walkers, a fantasy adventure. You know what? I gotta admit, they've piqued my curiosity on this. Because, you know me, I'll read a lot of stuff, and I like tight, interconnected series. That's why I was really drawn to Image in its early years. How about this? 2000 AD is celebrating its birthday in February, and they're releasing graphic novels to showcase some of the breadth and depth of 4 decades of storytelling from 2000 AD.
Okay.
This is going to include the Journal of Luke Kirby, the boy wizard character that predated Harry Potter. New characters such as Meta Lawson in Lawless, Welcome to Bad Rock, which was Dan Abnett and Phil Winslade's fan-favorite series about an off-world judge doing things her own way with frontier justice. And, let me see. Keck W. and comics artist John Burns blaze through 10,000 years of history and combine a robotic knight, an ancient order of warriors, and a woman searching for the legacy of her father, as well as giant time-traveling worms in a series called The Order. John Wagner,
That's a very unique setting.
Isn't it, though? The post-apocalyptic series The Last American returns to print for the first time in over a decade in April with a brand new collection of Ian Eddington and D'Israel's Scarlet Traces, kicking off both a year and the ongoing saga about the aftermath of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. And it goes on, but probably the most easily recognizable one will be the new volumes of the best-selling series Judge Dredd: The Complete Case Files. In August and November. This will be the early cases from the life of psychic cop Judge Anderson in Alan Grant, Carlos Xera, and Steve Yowell's Cadet Anderson, Teenage Kicks. Dude, they're just pushing out a ton of stuff. And some of these are new series, some of these are not, but if you're looking for hardcovers of classic 2080 stuff, your chance comes soon, I would say.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Mark Waid?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
He's written things like Kingdom Come for DC Comics. He's also the guy that did the Empire series that DC eventually published.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, a really good writer. He is doing a master class on writing in a one-day comics experience master seminar on March 18th, 2017. It's simply titled Comic Script Writing with Mark Waid. And if you think that he is not a good writer, you can go read The Black Widow. He's currently writing that series for Marvel, as well as Avengers. And he's the writer of Kingdom Come for DC, and he runs his own publishing company, Thrillbent Comics, which publishes critically acclaimed series like Empire. According to the synopsis, Waid will walk students through the process of imagining, outlining, and writing a story for comics, then taking it through the next level towards publication. It will be an intensive 6-hour course where he'll discuss the decisions he's made throughout his career that have contributed to his success. You know, I've almost sold myself on that. Spaces are limited for the Mark Waid Master Seminar. Students are encouraged to register now at the Comics Experience website. The price for this seminar, $295. but it also includes 2 weeks of accessing of the session, including the question and answer portion. If it wasn't for the fact that I need that money for other things, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And last up in general comic news, Fantagraphics is hosting an exhibition of Wallace Wood's work at his Seattle gallery, coinciding with the release of a new book by the cartoonist, The Life and Legend of Wallace Wood. It debuts today, it debuts today, Saturday, January 14th, at the Fantagraphics Bookstore and Gallery, with an exhibition presentation by J. Michael Catron. If you don't know who he is, Wood was a founding cartoonist in Mad Magazine, and he was one of the pillars of early Marvel Comics with his work on Daredevil. So if you're a fan of early comics, there's a place to go. And last up is our WTF Corner, the stories from across the internet that make you sit up and go, what in the blue hell just happened? And we like to start with video game videos, and I apologize, last week there weren't any. I had some technical difficulties that I couldn't hear until after the recording had ended, and I realized how bad it sounded, so I just removed the whole thing. No, I am not doubling up this week because we have places to be. But we have video game videos. Incredible plays, unbelievable falls, and the kind of plays that just it makes you regret buying that system. And the first up in video game videos is a game I don't think I've ever used as well as is a classic in video games. Deus Ex.
The original?
The original shooter as well as adventuring game. It was slightly platforming in nature, but mostly it was about strange violence. Wait until you see this video. It got weird. This came from the channel of Dat Mudkip. DAT-MUDKIP. And I love the title for his video, man. He is so imaginative. The title of this video is, Meanwhile in Deus Ex. It gets weird. Pay attention. I sent the video. Dat Mudkip Productions. Ooh, and we got the funk. It looks like a really engaging hallway. Ooh, there's a person. Do we get to kill him? He's staring
Not
at
if
you,
you're
so
playing the good ending.
Yeah.
Looks like you've been overrun by NSF. They move supplies through here.
Wow, he's really talkative.
Anything recently? A bunch of barrels came through about an hour.
Barrels, huh?
Woke us all up.
Now pay attention.
They went
Nothing happening, right?
They always do.
Yeah, right.
Only way to get a key is from the NSF.
Look behind the hero.
Guy lives to the south, but I bet he'd die first.
Somebody disappeared.
You open the door by pushing a grid.
Okay.
Hidden behind some cardboard boxes.
And get this, you fed him after midnight.
You won't have to worry about the NSF for much longer.
This doesn't look good, does it? And he's killed.
This is what I signed on.
As soon as he exits the dialogue, he was killed.
That's not right.
That's awful. I saw that and I'm just like, what's so special about all this? Oh my god, where'd they come from?
It's like, hey, there's a guy there. Now there's two guys. And we're done. And you're dead.
And not only is it embarrassing because those guys just appeared behind him, but they were dressed like frickin' alley vipers. I do have one Overwatch video for you this week.
Okay.
And there were two, but they were kind of repetitive. Both of them were dealing with Reinhardt.
Okay.
This particular video, though, came from the channel of Casey Satomic. Casey SAT0M1K. The title of this video is Look Both Ways Before Going Into Traffic.
Oh, God.
This involves that new map that has a highway running through the back of it.
Yeah. I can't remember it. Oasis.
Okay, it gets embarrassing. I sent the video. There you are as Anna. A couple pot shots, not really hitting anything. Oh, somebody needs help, can't hit him. And here comes Reinhardt charging down. Knocks you into traffic. You're out of traffic, but he's not.
Oh my god, I gotta record this. Do not let me not record this.
That player had perfect right to be happy with himself in that moment. But the next video is a Rainbow Six Siege video.
Okay.
And it is a failure, but not a terrible failure. You have to see it to believe it. This came from the channel user The Devil You Know. TheDevilYou_KNOW. Just had to add that last one in there. The title of this video is If only everyone was a good sport like this guy.
Oh.
You'll understand. If I describe anything, it loses its flavor. I sent the video.
The bombs.
So we're zoning in now. Okay, there we are. We're in the prep phase. He throws a grenade, blows a hole in the wall. Great! Throws a grenade, hits a guy in the head. And he turns slowly, threatening to murder you, and happy teabag. Okay, we're on our way. That video always gets me because it always looks like he's slowly turning like, you ugly mother. Just kidding. I'm going to jump through this hole. You know, it's true, though. There's often a lot of gamers who are not as polite as that particular guy who took a grenade to the back of the head when he didn't have to. The next video is an Xbox DVR video, so it's more of a direct video submission. And, unfortunately, this came from the channel of user Ahab Jr. It was an interesting Titanfall 2 video.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a failure, but it's weird. I love the title of this video, too. All he calls it is, what? How? Oh.
Oh, one of those reactions, huh?
Yeah. I sent the video. So there you are. You spot something, you grapple out. Grapple. I'm on my way, and I've stopped. What the hell? And I'm dead. What the frick? So here's the replay. You see that guy grapple out? Somebody grapples him in the back, and he's stuck in place.
Oh, no way.
That was kind of mean.
As the Bard once said, great shot, kid! That was 1 in a million. I've never seen those physics work in that format, but even I was sitting there watching the video. The first half of it is like, why is he frozen? Why did he die? Then you watch the replay, it's like, oh. Okay.
I just never think to use my grapple on another person. I know that you can, but I just never think to do it.
I did. I got a Shoryuken on somebody. He was jumping up a building. I grappled him on his way up. He came almost straight down, and I got to punch him directly in the butt. I'm sure he hated that.
Yeah, probably just a bit.
Okay, I've got a video that's a Watch Dog 2's video. We don't get too many of these, but this, I could not ignore this if I tried. This came from the channel of user Jenny Tellia, JennyTellia. She titled this video, Security Exploit. It has to do with
the game, okay.
Well, it has to do with a security car in the game. I know they're hackable and stuff, but I don't think this is what any dev intended it to do. I sent the video. So, there you are in some kind of security vision, and it seems that Kid is having an autistic fit and bashing himself into a wall. That can't be real. Let's turn off the vision and see what this looks like. Oh, no, it is real. And it's violently just kind of throwing itself into the wall.
I think Barricade's losing his mind.
You know, just like Jamie Heineman said, well, there's your problem. And the last video I have is a Battlefield 1 video, man. And this game doesn't really have glitches. It just has awesome coincidences, wouldn't you say?
I don't know. The flipping tank or whatever it was, that was a pretty much a glitch.
Yeah, but that was during the beta, though. Since the beta is over, it's been pretty smooth. This came from the channel user Aaron Woolwine. Aaron space Woolwine. And this is awesome. The title of the video is, looks like the pilot got the last laugh. Now I'm going to say something here, and it's very important. Everything in this video has to do with the dialogue, so I want you guys to hold all comments until the end. Fair enough?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's only 13 seconds, but it's a hell of a thing when you see it happen. I sent the video.
He bailed.
Yeah.
Spotted a pilot.
Aaron, he bailed on top of you.
Yeah, and he crashed a plane into me.
No, somebody else crashed a plane into you.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That sudden realization that more than one person hates you.
Yeah.
I especially like that guy's reaction. No, someone else crashed a plane into you. Wait, what? Oh, he's going to be paranoid for the rest of his life. Now, do you guys remember the animated TIE Fighter special we saw like a year and a half ago?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got a cease and desist, didn't they?
Not that I know of. Paul Johnson, a.k.a. the man responsible for the amazing TIE Fighter anime short, he has a new project. And he's animating this, not in the style of the 80s, but in the style of 1994. Why did I use that particular year?
Why?
Because he's making a 20-minute animated Street Fighter short in the style of the 1994 animated movie of the same style.
Oh, okay.
It is still a work in progress. He has put together a 2-minute demo. I assume you want the 2-minute demo?
Yes. Now that we're talking about it, yeah.
Okay. I sent the video.
Oh, do you even get the low-resolution text?
Yeah. Well, again, it's work in progress. This is not finished, but the early images are pretty damn good. He's definitely using a combination of CG-style art and animation.
Yeah.
This is bringing flashbacks.
His M-Vice is pretty damn good. There's Guile throwing sonic booms. Now, still, not the finished project. This is cel-shaded without the actual gradient shading that this guy does. But it's good. It's pretty fluid stuff. Oh my god, Guile's a gun.
Huh.
There goes Cammy. I gotta admit, man, I want to see what the finished product is now.
Yeah. It should be interesting.
You probably...
Here's some... Sorry?
I was saying you probably took the... used references from the Street Fighter 5 game as references.
I don't know about that because the character styles are all basically firmly Street Fighter 2. He's probably added a few touches here, being that he's an original artist and doing this not for profit. He can add whatever little items of continuity he needs to.
Yeah, no, I do, but you know, having a 3D model as a reference helps a lot.
Possibly, but there's already been so many different versions of these characters. There's a lot of different reference material to work with. And he does have that Cro-Magnon brow from the 90s down pretty damn well. A lot of full-grown male characters in animes did have some sweeping foreheads.
I don't know. Ken's almost unibrow is...
Yeah. You can see from this section he added in Jury into continuity early here.
Jury? I thought that was Rose.
No, I'm pretty sure by those little dark pigtails she was wearing, that was Jury standing with that eye patch. Would kind of make sense since that would be where the cyborg eye goes in.
Yeah.
So he has a Patreon too. The Ota King Patreon. This is pretty cool. First one to donate gets to stay on my aircraft. What in the blue hell does that mean? So, what do you think? Is that a watcher?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm willing to give that a look.
Yeah, I'm fully behind that one. There are YouTubers that are facing fines and potential evictions from the place they're staying at just for making videos from their home.
Oh, I told Steve about this.
Yeah.
YouTuber and Call of Duty team owner Justin Kosdiff Chandler recently moved into a home in Cobb County, Georgia, which is where the big boss man is from, if I remember correctly. He moved in with a bunch of other YouTubers, and they were planning to play games, video log, and, do their YouTubing business from this house. Problem is, they've gotten into trouble. A neighbor called in a complaint to the local police department because of too many cars parked on the street. Well, thanks a lot, buddy. And police went to the house, and after a small investigation, there wasn't any criminal wrongdoing. But because of what they were doing, they were found to be in violation of zoning laws and are being forced to be evicted from the house unless a number of people move out. The problem is that the county is sticking very firmly to the rules regarding single-family homes, which were created originally to stop groups of minorities or in-wedlock people from moving in together. Bible Belt stuff, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And those laws dictate that there's a limit to the number of non-related people that can live in a home, which this group of people, unfortunately, surpasses. So it's one of those cases where it's a legal faux pas, but unfortunately it's one of those things that with a little more research they could have probably prevented this particular issue.
Yeah, don't move to Georgia.
According to Dana Johnson, who's Cobb County's head of community development, the problem was multifaceted. They were issued a notice of violation because, 1, Chandler and his friends had too many unrelated people living in the same house, and 2, they did not have a business license. The other problem here is because they were doing their YouTube videos out of the house, which they do earn money from, they were technically running a business out of a house that wasn't meant to be a business. So they were attacked on 2 different fronts. I mean, it's one of those cases...
It's pretty easy to go back and get a business license and be like, look, we didn't know, okay, we need a business license, we're good. But
which
you don't
Chandler,
have to...
which Chandler has obtained.
Right.
He has a business license, but there's still too many unrelated people living in the house for zoning laws.
Which is just bullshit.
You know, it's the law they have, and it's the law they're enforcing.
Right. But they don't have to.
They don't have to, but they've chosen to. You know, it's also one of those things where laws have not quite caught up to the current nature of business. You know, just about anybody can make money online without a business license via YouTube if they have enough followers and views.
Right.
It's just one of those situations. I guess if somebody plans to do this, they're going to have to be really careful about their guests parking in the driveway.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like it's guests. It sounds like they just had a lot of roommates. They were going to make it affordable. And...
It was a guest car that was called in, though.
Oh, it was a guest car?
Yeah, it wasn't anybody living there. It was somebody else who had shown up for one of the video logging sessions.
Wow.
What, they're not allowed to have visitors?
Not too many.
No, they are allowed to have visitors. The problem is that they got called because a neighbor was annoyed because they had too many cars.
Well, that's part of it. There could also be one other facet that's unreported as to whether or not there's a homeowners association. Homeowners association do have pretty strict rules about the number of visitors you can have. They don't want you creating loud parties in the middle of their neighborhoods. And homeowners associations have rather sweeping powers that they can give themselves that are legally enforceable, unfortunately, which can include the state of your grass. If your grass is too brown, they can have you evicted.
Yeah. No, I fucking hate homeowners associations. They can tell you what color to paint your house. They can tell you that, it's bullshit. It's my fucking house. I can live there and do whatever the fuck I want.
No.
As long as it's not illegal, which they then have the rights to control.
Yeah, and again, this falls into that weird gray area.
I won't be living in any place with a homeowners association.
Well, there is an Overwatch cosplayer. See, what is her name? Pyeon Kim. And she has gone above and beyond. First of all, I'm going to give you an image of her latest cosplay, which is pretty damn good. Take a look at her Sombra. It is next-level stuff. The photo has used some lighting and a little bit of special effects, but again, her look, overall, she's gone the extra mile for it.
Yeah.
And the reason why she's in WTF isn't because of her cosplaying. It's what she did as a cost of her cosplaying. She did actually shave off a significant portion of her hair to do this cosplay.
Oh, damn.
That is her hair.
Oh, wow.
But the reason why I bring it up is because she took that hair and instead of just ditching it in the name of art, she donated it to kids with kids with cancer charity so that they can make wigs out of it.
Nice.
Nice.
You know, she didn't have to, but she definitely did. She even put it on her Naver blog when she put the hair in a sealed envelope and sent it off to the charity. She does have an active Facebook page. We can link that back so people can follow her. She's a really good cosplayer. Want to see one more of a wide shot of what she produced?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Here you go. It's another view of the same costume, including the submachine gun accessory, man. It's really good looking.
Damn.
That's impressive. I wonder, did she make the costume herself, or?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of professional cosplayers don't make their costumes anymore. They tend to get money via views and such. But I'm more impressed at her charity, honestly.
Mm.
She actually thought about somebody beyond herself while she was working on herself.
Yep.
A 1980s TV show is getting rebooted.
Which one?
Shout Factory has won the rights to a WTBS, if you remember that network before it was cableized. They had a game show competition in 1982 and 1983. It lasted an additional year in syndication. Get ready for the return of Starcade.
What the hell is that?
Oh God, that.
It was a 1980s game show where 2 or 3 kids competed together on arcade machines with a commentator running between the two, trying to keep up, where they find out who racks up the higher score in a given amount of time.
Oh, so it's kind of like the movie The Wizard.
Yeah. Starcade was a bit awkward. It wasn't the greatest show. But all 3 seasons were put in syndication on the now dead G4 gaming channel. Now Shout Factory, the company behind the revival of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and a whole bunch of cartoon classics, including G.I. Joe, are now bringing Starcade back for a retro boot for their own streaming network. Makes you wonder what format they'll be on. I mean, Starcade, you could tie that in really easily with the e-gaming movement. So, I saw that and I just sat back in my chair and said, really? Somebody cares that much? But somebody does. And I know you guys won't be excited to revisit it, but because of the issues, I had to ditch it. Deadspin and Adequate Man released the annual list of what was stuck in orifices in 2016.
Why do we have to revisit this?
Because it's funny. People getting stupid for an entire year. Obviously, there's a list of things that emergency rooms have listed on their records of what people had stuck in various orifices of their bodies. And it's not the items that surprise me so much as people's innate stupidity and what they get jammed in there. Such as the list of what was stuck in people's ears in 2016. Now keep in mind, this is from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's database of emergency room visits. These are all actual emergency room visits that produced items stuck in various orifices. In the ear, we had a deflated balloon. It must have been the saddest clown party ever. A beetle. A beetle's more normal. That can just happen. Insects, unfortunately, will crawl into these things if you live in dirty places.
Yeah.
How about this? This is a quote from a report. Quote, place toilet paper in the ear so wouldn't have to hear neighbors, unquote.
Just reminds me of my time in Stockton.
That must have been a hot night in Georgia. A chess piece.
Ow.
You're not using that
that's
right.
A very small chess piece.
Still, if it's a knight, there's got to be a story behind it. A plastic drinking straw. I don't know what they were looking for in there. Yeah, paper napkins. A hairpin. Okay, a hairpin I could kind of understand. You could scratch the interior of your ear in a pinch with that. A hairband, though, confuses me a bit more. How do you get a whole band
My
in there?
common answer to this is kids.
Okay, well, would kids get gasoline stuck in their ears?
I don't know. Depends on what
somebody
age they
had gasoline in their ear.
That hurts. That's painful.
The next item, quote, crayon stuck in ear for 2 weeks, unquote.
That's definitely a kid.
You hope so. The end of a shoelace? Aren't those called kegels?
I don't know.
Okay. A fake diamond.
Kids.
No, I would say he should have gone to Jared's.
Kids.
Paper and an eraser.
Kids.
No, that could have been a cram session, literally. Could have also been Cliff Notes for a test. The ball from an eyebrow ring. And finally, a dog's paw.
What?
That one...
That has to be from a toy.
It just says dog's paw. If it's anything larger than a chihuahua, I have so many questions. Can you imagine somebody running into the ER with a Rottweiler on the side of their head? Hey, you got to help me.
My answer would be there is no helping you.
Let's see. Item stuck in the nose. A pebble from the fish tank.
That's a drunk story.
Or kids.
This could be a drunk story. Quote, stuck a raisin up his right nostril. Brother tried to remove with tweezers, but patient moved, unquote.
Yeah.
That could be either one.
A stove pellet.
A stove pellet.
Yeah, wood-burning pellet stove, I'm assuming.
Quote, was laying on his back at school when an eraser fell into his nostril, unquote.
Yeah.
I call bull crap.
Right.
Yeah, me too. That's
I call utter bull crap. I don't care what the size of your eraser was, man. That was 1,000,000 to 1 shot. You were doing something. Let me see. A plastic snake. Okay. Magnets up each nostril. Somebody was trying to become Magneto.
Science.
Plastic hearts in each nostril.
Not
a baby. A baby wipe.
Okay.
There are easier ways to clean your mind. Mini hockey sticks. Do they mean from Do they mean like from one of those tabletop hockey games, or?
I'm assuming.
And finally, an egg dye tablet. Why does everything smell blue?
Yeah, you can be smelling colors for a while.
Items stuck in the throat. A ruler. Okay.
Wow.
A branch. That sounds personal.
Yeah.
This next one was just stupid. A stale cake.
A what?
A stale cake.
Like cars are rock stale?
I guess.
Urinal cake.
No.
Quote, okay, this next one, somebody was drinking. Quote, accidentally swallowed a pill bottle when taking his medication, unquote.
No.
You're doing it wrong.
That's not an accident.
How do you swallow the bottle?
Man, I can't tell the difference between my pills and what it came in. What do I do?
I'll just take them both.
An asthma inhaler.
You're doing it wrong if that's in your throat.
It's like the old cartoons. He inhaled so hard it just flew down there. Was opening a bottle of soda with his teeth and bottle cap flew down his throat, unquote.
Okay, I could see opening a can with your teeth because, I bit my nails when I was younger and I did that a lot.
Yeah, there's already a number of things wrong here.
Plastic cap?
It doesn't say plastic cap. It says bottle cap.
Well, that's... Oh, God.
That's worse.
Oh.
A hoop earring. I don't even want to guess what that's doing down there.
That's not
the piercing that you put down there. Thank you.
A plastic honey-filled straw.
Honey-filled?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions behind that. Quote, playing with a blow dart gun, blew the pin out, it hit the wall, flew back into patient's throat, and he swallowed it, unquote. I'm calling bullcrap.
Bullshit, yeah. Definitely.
This is not a Christmas story. You did not just shoot yourself in the throat. I guarantee you it's like that guy with the asthma inhaler. He inhaled too hard, and now it's in there. A Canadian quarter. Why does it matter if it's Canadian?
Because who has money in Canada?
Who cares if it's Canadian? Does that mean he came into the ER going, get this out, eh? Quote, inhaled a wasp while jogging, now throat swelling, unquote.
Ow,
okay, you have other problems.
Yes.
If this was like a Sony animated film, as soon as you open the mouth, there would be a wasp standing like right underneath this guy's uvula. Hey, I've been waiting for you to get me the hell out of here. Paint stirring stick and paint.
Kids.
Really bored doing the garage. Quote, held down in art class, classmate shoved sequins down throat, unquote.
Bullying. Excellent.
You have more problems than just going to the ER at this point.
At least he was honest. At least he was honest enough to say what happened instead of chewed on dress. Dog shampoo. I couldn't even guess why.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm assuming the bottle and not the actual shampoo because I don't know.
It just says dog shampoo. It says nothing about a bottle. I don't know.
How do you? Anyway.
If you have too much of it, you can get it stuck. That stuff is thick. I've washed dogs. It has a consistency like glue. At least before you lather up with it anyway.
I see.
Glow sticks. That was a dare.
Yeah, someone had a party.
Yeah. Quote, eating club sandwich and part of toothpick broke off. He swallowed it, scratch in throat, able to finish sandwich, unquote.
That's dedication.
Slow down. Slow down.
It's like Hunk from freaking Voltron. Items in the penis. People actually have this stuff jammed in the penis.
I don't want to hear this one.
Carved down piece of domino incised penis, inserted domino piece into penis, now wants it removed, unquote.
Why?
I don't even care.
I would have to, if that was the request I was faced with, I'd have to look at him and say, I don't know, I think you earned that one.
No, I say, in Ruiz, and we want you to go here. The psych ward? Yes.
A sandal buckle. Please tell me it's just the long piece of the sandal buckle and not the square piece.
I don't care.
That has a whole different meaning to foot long right now. A BB. That's almost believable.
People are fucking sick.
A doll shoe.
There are other problems there.
Is it Barbie doll shoe or is it like Life Mate doll shoe?
It doesn't matter. There's another problem right there.
Quote, had pebbles stuck in penis while swimming in a lake 3 weeks ago, unquote.
Bullshit.
How do you not notice?
Were you drunk?
If he was drunk for 3 weeks, he'd be dead, and it wouldn't matter.
Maybe he was hanging around with that guy that had the fish tank pebble stuck in his nose. A pen cap.
Why?
He was trying to write his name in the snow and didn't have the right utensil? Oh, okay, the next one is a pen. Obviously you found out where the pen cap went. A 3-inch straight pin.
People are fucking sick.
Wow. Quote, marble in penis, cut penis trying to get it out, unquote.
Oh my god, you... Fuck!
Oh, that's a double. That's a double. That's a double, and you don't deserve to have it anymore.
Darwin Awards. Darwin Awards. People that do this shit should be automatically euthanized.
Oh, the item stuck in the vagina, the other sex, and what they did with their stuff. The first one is kind of confusing because it's very specific. 3 paper towels.
Too many awful jokes that have come to my mind.
Yeah, just buy condoms. I mean, wow. 3 golf ball sized bouncy balls. There's a number of things that could have happened there. Go on, Steve. Say it's kids.
Yeah, kids.
6 screws.
They didn't say that they had to be adults.
Wood screws or masonry screws? That's kind of important here.
Yeah.
A pill bottle.
Not awful.
Again.
But why?
Okay. A USB adapter.
What are you hiding?
Doesn't go in that socket.
What are you hiding?
That
Who's
is not
hiding?
compatible.
I would like to know what memory it was. You know, did she take the 8 gigs or did she take the full 64 gigs?
Boo.
Quote, sat on top of a dollhouse and there was a spiked roof, unquote.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
There's a story there.
Yeah. Yeah.
A knotted rope. A knotted rope is probably one of the more sensible things that's been on this list so far.
Oh, those could be very coarse.
Yeah, but it is an actual adult toy. Quote, went swimming, went to remove tampon, cannot locate it, unquote.
It was made in China.
Cannot locate it. If you can't locate it, why are you so sure it's still in there? A pointy toy
maybe
pig.
They just wanted confirmation.
A pointy toy pig.
Kids, yeah.
A pointy toy pig. What is a pointy toy pig?
I don't know.
Quote, boyfriend stuck bottle in vagina, the cap came off and got stuck, unquote.
Wow.
That is not a bottle opener.
Wow.
Hey, babe, I can't get this Michelob open. Can you help me out? Nothing says loving. Half a bar of soap.
Something in the oven?
Half a bar of soap.
Huh.
A sharpened pencil.
I think douches are cheaper.
Yeah, a sharpened pencil. Quote, put a bouncy ball in her vagina. It stuck. Was masturbating, unquote.
Oh, honest. Okay.
That last detail.
Yeah. Points for honesty. Quote, placed a bobby pin in vagina. States she does not know why, unquote.
Either you're lying or you were drunk off your ass. Or hot.
A doll. It just says a doll.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
A small painting kit.
Okay.
That's not how you take care of that. You usually need to see a plastic surgeon if you're that insecure about it. Quote, part of a silicone dildo broken off, unquote. Whoa! Nobody approach her. I think we figured out where Wonder Woman's hiding in her secret identity.
That's some clinching strength there, yeah.
Cigarettes and lighter.
And what?
Cigarettes and lighter.
Party tricks?
Maybe she was out of room in her purse. A shoe heel.
Right.
If it was a high heel shoe, okay. If it's a Doc Marten, why?
I don't like shoes that much.
Pieces of plastic cup, broken crayon, piece of plastic, and straw. Art class is awful.
Yeah,
yes. Gotta be.
This last one is so embarrassing, but again, points for honesty. Quote, possible retained vaginal foreign body, using vibrator while intoxicated, unquote.
Ooh.
Honest. And drunk.
And last up is a list of items in 2016 that were found in people's rectums in emergency rooms.
Oh, dear.
Oh, fun.
Wine cork wrapped in paper towels, electrical tape, and a condom.
There's a story there.
Why were they trying to protect
homemade?
the wine cork so much? They wrapped it in 3 different items here. They practicing their muling for when they move heroin or something? 10 broken crayons.
That was a dare.
Yeah.
10 broken crayons. 9 ladies leaping. 8 drummers drumming. A
5
flashlight.
rings.
The next item is a flashlight was in someone's rectum.
It doesn't let you see any better.
No, but it lets you see behind you now. Quote,
Depends
per
on
wife.
which way it went in.
Quote, per wife, patient sat down on a screwdriver and it went up his rectum, unquote.
How did
Was
you
it
do that?
Was it sexual games? Was it a prank? Was he trying to do 3 things at once? Did he put down the flashlight and pick up the screwdriver? The next one just says 2 dildos. Somebody was showing off.
That or they
Quote,
just really like threesomes and, needed it to accommodate.
Quote, put a pencil up rectum to make bowel movement to get gauze patient swallowed to come out, unquote.
Wait, what?
What?
No. No, never mind. Don't even bother.
He swallowed a piece of gauze. It made him constipated, and he figured the right way to get it out would be a pencil, so now he probably has a pencil and gauze in his butt.
Did he swallow the pencil?
No, it says put a pencil up rectum to make bowel movement to get gauze patient swallowed to come out.
Yeah.
There are other ways to make that come out.
Yeah.
A plastic melatonin bottle. That's not going to help you sleep.
No.
A possible shot glass.
Possible.
Yeah, what
You're
makes it
sure
possible?
I woke up and my shot glass was missing.
And I had this horrible pain in my rectum.
Can you check for me?
Quote, rectal fissure masturbating for her boyfriend using a hairbrush in her rectum yesterday, unquote.
It's not what it's for.
Well, maybe she has a lot of hair down there. A nail cuticle tool.
Not what it's for.
It's horrible. Egg timer. Somebody had an egg. Was it in the shape of an egg, I hope? If it's like one of those old-fashioned desktop egg timers, dude.
Oh, no.
That took work. A curtain rod.
What?
says a curtain rod.
Wow.
Oddly enough, that's one of the more normal things on this list so far. Quote, ice pick in rectum to push hemorrhoids back in, unquote. Whoa!
No,
whoa!
no,
not using any of that correctly.
Right there.
Dude, wow. That's not what that's for.
I don't even... I mean, that sounds like a fucking mafia, That's not something you do to yourself.
Okay, I'm going to give you a New York rectal exam. I'm going to need you to bend over and not scream so much.
Oh, wow.
The handle of a toilet bowl brush.
Yeah, not what it's
multitasking. A hammer.
I'd be more impressed if it was a plunger.
Well, the next one is just hammer. Was it a ball peen hammer, a claw hammer, or MC hammer?
I was hope for the latter.
A nut and bolt.
Okay. Huh?
At least you had both parts. You had both parts, hey. Quote, smiley hand toy from vending machine. Mom noted a rubber hand protruding from rectum, unquote. Does that mean that toy's up there going, get me out! Grab my hand! A bingo dauber.
Dauber? Man,
I believe they mean
old
one of those
folks' homes are serious when they want you to...
If you call bingo too early, man, there are punishments. There will be repercussions. And right underneath bingo dauber, bingo chip.
Yeah. Repeat offender.
A decorative pumpkin.
What?
It just says decorative pumpkin. Is it sad that after I said that, all I can picture is, hi, I'm David S. Pumpkins.
Oh, God.
You suck, sir.
Oh, God. Now, I'm not going to be able to unsee that.
At least it wouldn't greet you when you pulled it out, I guess.
Not if you left it in long enough.
A bowling pin.
Not what it's for.
The dude had a bad evening trying to get his rug back. Quote, shoe shine container allegedly intoxicated, did not know girlfriend inserted object, unquote.
He must have been really drunk.
Oh, hopefully that was an Everclear night. A tub drain cap. It's not going to hold anything in there.
No.
Wife's 6-inch vibrator, unquote. Points for honesty.
Okay.
Well, actually, forget it. He might not be honest. It may be his, and he just won't admit it.
Either that or he lost a fight. He lost a fight bad.
With his wife.
Yes.
A broom handle.
Ouch.
Though still more normal than most of the things on the list. A baseball. Wow, a baseball.
It was a Harry Potter broom handle.
I'm more impressed by the idea of somebody shoving a baseball in there.
At least it wasn't a softball.
That's muscle control, man. A salt shaker.
Ouch.
Quote, male using plastic sex toy, vibrator that broke off in rectum but left without treatment, unquote.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Broke off in rectum. He actually said, you know what, I'm okay. I'm going to go home. Do you think it was still working?
Batteries have to run out eventually.
Yeah.
And the last item, quote, using a vibrator last night. Thought was inserting in vagina. Interrupted by mom and sat up quickly. Inserted in rectum. Can't remove, unquote. Dude, that's a triple. That's a triple.
That's teenage years right there. That's horrible. God. Oh my God. You are not going to live that down because your mother is just going to be like, Mom, I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah? What about that time you... Oh God. Yeah, no.
I know, but
Mom's just gonna hang that over your head for the rest of your life.
It's just, I can imagine the poor young lady that's discovering her body at this point doesn't realize that that's in the wrong hole, probably thinking, that doesn't feel like anything anyone's described. All of a sudden she sits up, Mom, we have a knock. I need to see somebody. Let's just hope she never talks about this with a friend, whomever this is.
Oh no, that's going to be shared among friends.
Yeah, that is something that will make it to Twitter. The subject of this week is Black Panther, issues 1 through 5 by Marvel Comics. This is the most recent volume of Black Panther. I believe the series is still ongoing at this point. The writer of it is an acclaimed novelist, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Sorry.
I don't believe you're pronouncing his name correctly.
I might not be. I'm not terribly familiar with the man. The letterer is VC Joe Sabino. The design is by Manny Medeiros. The artist is Brian Stelfreeze. The color artist is Laura Martin. The writer is Ta-Nehisi Coates. And this is a story of the modern Black Panther. It really doesn't seem to ignore any of his prior continuity while trying to tell a story essentially about nationalism, politics, and the populaces that live with them. I'm familiar with the overall story of the Black Panther. I have not read any of his actual stories to date. That includes the Christopher Priest ones that are so highly touted. And I gotta admit, as a jump-in point, this is rough.
Yeah.
I followed the basic tenets of the Black Panther and the Throne of Wakanda. However, a lot of the intricate details were just lost on me. And they spent a lot of time talking like I was pretty sure I was supposed to understand what in the blue hell was happening, but I was having trouble.
I didn't really have too much of an issue, following what all was going on. But yeah, previous events, referred to and so forth, I was just like, okay, I'll yeah.
Well, imagine somebody
the drowning of Wakanda by Namor. I remember talking about that.
Yeah, that was an Avengers versus X-Men story.
And I am familiar with the various villains that they said invaded Wakanda, including Thanos, which I was just like, okay, well, I know that didn't end well for them.
No, that was early on in the Infinity storyline when not Infinity. That was a storyline where Thanos was looking for his son, if you recall, Thane, and he brought the entire Black Order to Wakanda and decimated the country.
Yeah, no, I
believe
was unaware of that, and so
that was just before the king was exiled when his sister took over as the Black Panther, and which
I also was unaware of.
Yeah, the visit by the Black Order was just before Namor visited Wakanda with the entire aquarium. So, I was kind of surprised. The implication I got from the end of the Secret Wars, when the Black Panther reappeared after using the Reality Infinity Stone to save himself from the changes on Battleworld, it seemed like Wakanda was fully restored. And when I said restored, I thought it had managed to sidestep the event of, the Black Order and Avengers vs. X-Men, but I guess he just appeared well after it rebuilt itself from everything else. So that threw me off a little bit. You were saying?
I just said yeah, or something, because that was definitely not a country in a good way.
Yeah, but the Wakanda that's presented right here in issue 1 is a technologically advanced country, but an upset one.
Very. Which, once you see events fall out and whatnot, yeah, I can sympathize, if not empathize.
Yeah, I would say that the story over the first 5 issues, it doesn't complete the first actual story here. It's just the first story arc. But it does, I'd say around issue 4, events start to actually coalesce into something a little more coherent. Man, the first 3 issues took a while to get through what was going on. And it was a case where they were having so many characters kind of flit in and out of appearances, I was almost having trouble locking onto names for an amount of time.
Yeah.
It's like I wasn't aware of the shaman character Tetu. I wasn't aware of his name until the 4th issue.
They didn't say it until the 4th issue.
Oh, okay, I was just afraid I'd missed something in my reading.
Nope.
I'd read this over a course of 6 days. I've had other things going on.
Yeah, they didn't say his name until he went to go talk to his teacher at the university. That was the first time they actually said his name.
The 2 former Dora Milaje who stole the Midnight Angels armor.
Yeah. Yep.
They were probably the most compelling characters to me so far in this story.
Yeah.
Because not only they're dealing with the fact that they're, not disgraced, but they're on the run because they don't agree with the sentence that's been passed on one of them for killing a man. Which was
apparently corrupt.
Yes, who was already a corrupt official. But there's also the idea that they're dealing with some old-fashioned, like very old-fashioned African precepts in regards to gender equality.
I was kind of wondering about that.
Africa is... It hasn't come as far as the U.S. It has come quite far away into how it treats women.
Do, clitoral circumcision and shit like that, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, very bad.
Yeah, but the Dora Milaje is more of a complicated storyline when it comes to the Black Panther, because they're not just his elite guardians, they're also...
Yeah, they're referred to as the Blessed Ones? I was unaware of that.
Well, they don't just guard him, he also sleeps with them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're concubines as well as guardians.
I see. Okay,
which is one of those cases where, again, it's like old-fashioned African culture, but at the same time, in a modern context, is a little bit gross.
I mean, king with his harem, not really a new concept, but yeah, that was lost to me in the actual storyline.
Well, I guess it makes more sense than just hiring a group of whores, for crying out loud. At least you can trust these women he's sleeping with for the most part.
Right. Well, but it does also bring up the fact that, obviously these two women were lovers, so yeah, I can see why they might be a little embittered by the fact that they have to sleep with a guy that they, probably weren't even interested in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the first issue raised a lot of questions, and one of the things the writer did very well through this series, something that I don't think a lot of previous writers touched on, is how difficult it can be to be a monarchy in a modern age.
That I kind of got the feel for throughout the course of the reading.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of shows recently, including The Royals on Netflix. And only recently have I gotten an idea as to what a monarchy can mean, not just modernly, but what it can mean to the person who's actually wearing the crown. Well, because of like Disney shows and cartoons, a lot of people have these very romanticized ideas of you do what I say and it gets done. That's essentially what a monarchy is, but the concept is so much more complicated to me at this point. Because a monarch has no choice in his election. He either is appointed or isn't. And then you have to embody yourself, your country, and your ideals at the same time while almost entirely eschewing what you want.
Right. Because that is the thing, it's like, you don't necessarily wind up with a monarchy because you want to be king. It may just be because your people expect a king and they expect you to represent them and so forth. I can definitely see how it would be a great challenge.
The second issue to me was where I started to actually key into the story a little better. When we're introduced to the inner council that T'Challa relies on for his information as to the status of his country.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very capable people, but it's one of those cases where the reader is going to have to keep its mind open a little bit, because Ta-Nehisi Coates does a great job of writing the whole thing with a very big cultural flair for Africa. There's almost no American influences in this series, really.
There's some word choices that I question, but overall, yeah, I do agree with what he's written down.
Well, I didn't say he did anything wrong or bad by trying to make it a wholly Wakandan story, but it is one of those cases where you are not going to see anybody just kind of jumping through city streets here. This is an African tale, told with a very African flair. I again, haven't read prior Black Panther comics, but I've always gotten the inference that if it wasn't for the fact that he says he's in Wakanda, you could probably mistake a lot of where his adventures takes place in his books. And those people that read him in the Avengers, they're going to see him jumping through New York and a lot of large cities pretty often. In this case, there's almost no action like that. This is a lot more intrigue, and everything is much more culturally based, which is one of the big strengths of the book. Because it is definitely set apart from 99% of other Marvel comics.
No, yeah, that's very true. That the cultural difference actually made the story a little more compelling to me.
Which I guess is also why a lot of the backgrounds had a lot of rich greens, blues, and dark hues to it. They definitely made it set apart, especially when the Midnight Angels rescued a group of women slaves from traffickers. And as much as they're working against the primary protagonist, you do have to respect that they are doing it simply because men will not protect them. They have to protect themselves, which is it's a pretty relatable sentiment.
Mm.
Especially when they pick up this band of women and develop their new slogan, "No one man." In other words, they're not going to count on any one man or any group of men to do what they need to do.
Right. Which is actually more of a political statement when taken from, who they are.
Yeah. It's also a very viable statement, though. I mean, that's another part of this story that's become very apparent, is that the Black Panther is not inassailable. His people feel that he's failed as a king, and even he feels he's failed as a monarch. And it gets even scarier when he actually meets up with the woman who caused a riot at the Great Mound, the place where the Wakandans mined the vibranium from the comet that landed in their territory.
Right.
And it turns out that she's not inducing rage, she's just pulling it up from the surface. Or pulling it to the surface, I should say. She's just taking all the negative feelings that people already have and magnifying them.
Well, she's, yeah. It's scary when she's not forcing an emotion on you, but she's just making an existing one more prevalent.
Well, she's making you connect
mind.
directly to it. She's not forcing you to be angry, she's just
she's just
opening the doors.
She's stripping your
inhibitions? No.
Yes. Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, because you're mad doesn't mean that you're going to go out and act on those feelings, whereas she's actually pulling away your inhibitions and basically giving you free rein to act on everything you feel.
Well, I mean, there was even that scene in the middle of issue 2 when the Black Panther finishes beating up a bunch of thugs who are holding a lot of captives. Then he says, "Your king will provide for you," and the woman guarding 3 kids says, "These men were providing for us." It's not a statement of they wish to be captors, but obviously they're living within his kingdom and they don't have anything better right now.
Right.
Which is another statement that makes him feel like he has utterly failed them. And that's where we find out that the former queen and his sister Shuri, another Black Panther, she's in some kind of weird living death.
Yeah.
It was one of the powers of...
perpetuated by Thanos.
Yeah, one of Thanos's... Well, not Thanos. One of Thane's powers, I believe, was to trap people in a living death, like a very deep stasis, which he's unable to pull her from. And at the same time, Shuri is being greeted by this local Wakandan spirits.
Yeah, or their spirit world in any case.
In the form of her mother.
Flowing therein.
I was a bit confused with all of that, and now I know about Thane. I wish that's maybe another mark against this book, because there's more history you need to know in order to understand what the hell's going on.
That does make it hard. The third issue is also dealing a lot with the different parties, Tetu, the priest, the Midnight Angels, and the Black Panther, and how they all respond to the different challenges that are being presented to them. Because it's another book where nobody here is the mustache-twirling villain. There is no clear good and evil, because everybody here is working to try and better their country. They just don't share the same pathways.
Right. Yeah. And they're blaming each other for their different failures and blaming themselves and all that, yeah.
It's the unfortunate thing that can happen when good people run out of patience with both themselves and each other. Nobody here is trying to destroy the world. They're all trying to save it, but unfortunately they have to save it from each other as they see it.
Right.
The current Manape was wiped out by the Midnight Angels and the new Dora Milaje.
And honestly, considering the way they were talking about him, because you don't get to see things from his point of view, he kind of deserved it.
Oh yeah, he probably did. The White Gorilla Tribe has long been a villainous tribe in the Black Panther comics. And again, to me, in the fourth issue was when the story really started to pick up, when everything started to coalesce a bit more, and you find out that there's another player that's been working behind the scenes here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in the form of Zeke or Ezekiel Stane. Obadiah Stane's son, an Iron Man villain.
Yeah.
Is behind a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah, which I was just like, well, that kind of explains the suicide bombers that show up in with Iron Man-esque, chest pieces on them.
The arc reactors?
Yeah.
Or the repulsors, I should say. That's actually one of the things that Zeke Stane did in the last Iron Man run he did. He had suicide bombers with repulsor technology, which I didn't really key onto until after the explosion. You had a good chance to view some of the future bombers in training there.
Right.
Or not in training, in making.
Yep.
I was kind of impressed that the Black Panther didn't keep his technology proprietary. He created his own special guard of war dogs with the white Black Panther suits, basically.
Mm.
That makes him scary.
Not very. They didn't perform very well in their first appearance.
Oh, they did when they took out those rebels in the jungle. They took them out in short order. The suicide bombers are not exactly what they're made to take care of.
Well, no, I meant when Tetu showed up.
Ah. And the 5th issue, when they brought in Manifold.
Yeah.
The former Avenger, Gateway's son.
That was scary.
That was frightening. There's a story I'm missing here, because I wasn't aware he was dead.
I'm assuming he's talking about something to do with the Warworld or something?
It would have to do with the Avengers, because I was never very clear on how he left their roster.
Mm.
And somehow he's been brought back to life through means that he may not enjoy. I was kind of impressed by how deftly the writer handled how T'Challa was trying to address what to do with a full-blown revolution in his country by calling in dictators from 5 other fictional countries.
Well, the intelligence personnel working for those dictators. Some of them. Some actual dictators.
Mm-hmm. I think they're all actual dictators, but some of them vary their titles because not everyone can be El Presidente. Sometimes it's better to hide in plain sight as like the number 2 or number 3 in your government.
Well, I was just referring to the dialogue by T'Challa, basically saying that, some of these guys work for other people.
I don't think it was T'Challa who said that. It was the person who was leading the whole thing, because T'Challa wouldn't speak directly.
I thought
it
was spoken in the black text.
Yeah,
okay.
T'Challa, that was the narration by T'Challa.
Oh, okay, you said speaking. I was looking for dialogue.
Oh, no. Well, that's why I said the narrator dialogue.
It's one of those things that's, it's not the most ethical move, but it's a sensible one, unfortunately. Because all those people had histories quelling different revolutions successfully.
Right. Although it backfired on him.
Oh, yeah.
At the very end.
Yeah, but it's not because of any action he actually took, just because of the dialogue of one of the people who was in that council was recorded and put out.
Now, the conversation he had with that suicide bomber, that was fascinating.
That was Amanda Waller-esque. He turned him.
Yep.
He completely turned one of the potential suicide bombers, and unfortunately, with what's happened to the man, that guy really only has one purpose left in life. So whatever T'Challa's going to ask is going to involve an explosion, obviously. There's nowhere else left to go.
Right. I have a feeling he's going to try and turn him back on whoever.
Probably, but
I
that's
got
something
free, blah, 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 and then when he gets next to the guy, then blow himself up.
I thought it was going to be a little more Shakespearean than that. I thought whoever it was, or, the main villains thought they were going to have things well in hand, or they were defeated, and he was benevolently going to release them so that they could go live their lives because they're not entirely wrong, and then as they leave, all of a sudden, they explode. Because he gets to be a monarch, a proper, benevolent person, but at the same time, he killed him.
Yeah.
So I thought that's where that was going.
It could be.
And, it's kind of unfortunate that this story arc really picks up at the time the volume ends.
Yeah. I mean, it was really starting to get somewhere, and I was like, okay, where's this? Oh, wait. Damn it.
Yeah. And I made sure to research, this is the full first volume as solicited by Marvel. So the story may go on, but it's not in this particular volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story. It is. But you are required to know a little too much to come before it to actually get all the details.
Yeah, I really wish it had been a little more Black Panther starter friendly.
Mm-hmm. It's if you're looking for if you or someone you know are looking for something artistic, I don't think it'll get much better than this because it is completely outside Marvel's norm.
Yeah,
by a wide margin.
It is. I mean, as a white guy who hasn't been to Africa, it seems very cultural. So there is that going for it too. I have no idea how.
I will be honest when I say this. Yes, it's a Wakandan story, but the basic idea of leader of a nation dealing with outsiders who think that the leaders wrong them, and people inside who also believe the same thing, they can be applied to any government.
Yeah, I mean, it has a definite Wakandan flair.
Yes.
It is a largely political story. It's very deftly told, but it draws on a lot that came before it.
Right. And I'm still wondering, my real question right now is what's going on with his sister, because that seems to be the
spirits are training her to do something, and they're teaching her a lot,
right.
Not just about combat. They're teaching her about ethics and populace.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is I'm wondering if at the end of this, they're basically going to say, go be a hero, that's what you want to do, she's got this.
I often wonder the way that Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing this, if she's not the next challenge.
Mm.
He's seen Wakanda through a revolution, and he's trying to deal with picking up the pieces, but all of a sudden, here's somebody who could be recognized as the true monarch of Wakanda appears. What happens then?
Yeah.
I don't know, given what little I know of T'Challa, he seems honorable enough to step down and let her take it.
Maybe, but we've already seen that story. Leading up to the Secret Wars, Shuri was in charge. She was the Black Panther. She was the Queen of Wakanda. He still had all of his powers and abilities, but he wasn't recognized as the rightful king or the Black Panther. He was hiding out in the necropolis with Namor, of all people, trying to solve the whole incursion issue before the Secret Wars started. So there he was, hiding in the City of the Dead with one of Wakanda's most notorious enemies. So we've already had the story of him stepping aside. I think now we're if I'm reading this correctly, I think we're going to have the story of two rightful rulers, one of which is loved by the people, one of which is not. Because the longer Shuri is away, the more her legend is going to be hyped by the populace, I'm positive.
Mm-hmm.
And even if T'Challa comes through this, there's already scandal on his monarchy just because of that recording that was played in issue 5. So even if he comes out well, if she reappears, what happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think she may end up appearing at the end of this story that's developing, not as the main hero, but as somebody who at least assisted. And in this case, it's going to be a choice of the populace, and I think they would choose her, even if she wasn't the one who drove Ezekiel Stane out of the country. But, yeah, if you're looking for something artsy, it's really good. If you're looking for something that fits into Marvel continuity, no. What happens here is probably going to stay pretty much here. And the only real problem it has, and one that keeps it from being an absolute great book to me, is, again, the necessary pieces of Marvel history you have to know to have it all make sense.
Right.
Without it, you're going to be scratching your head a bit, wondering, what are you talking about? So it's I could give it to people, but there'd be a lot of caveats.
Yeah. It would have to be somebody willing to put in the work to actually learn, some of what happened before. Otherwise,
and somebody
I don't
who's
know
willing,
that they're really going to enjoy it as much.
As well as somebody who's willing to read a book that's very much not in the general Western style of storytelling.
Right, which, kind of dictates who you're going to be giving it to.
Mm-hmm. I'd almost say most people in the world would probably get a big kick out of this, but Americans, it's kind of a dice roll. Sad to say, but it's true.
Anyone who could enjoy good political thriller could probably enjoy this.
That's
but again,
true.
there's the caveat of the prior Marvel history to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
One.
I mean, if you're only looking at this from a political thriller point of view, the prior things coming before are not really necessary.
Then explain the way Shuri, what's that her name?
Shuri.
Shuri, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a good job of saying, hey, she's trapped in death, she's not dead. So, that's all you really need to know. You don't need to know, oh, Thane is the one that, had the power to do that or whatever. They basically said it was a result of the Black whatever?
The Black Order.
Yeah, the Black Order coming to Wakanda. So, I mean, again...
Let's be specific, though. I think it's Thane. I was never very well researched in what Thanos' people could do, because, after all, what they do is murder. And, what happens to her was very similar to what happened to Thanos for a serious amount of time, but it may not necessarily be him. There could be somebody else in the Black Order that has a similar type of ability.
And it doesn't really matter from a political thriller point of view.
True. It's going to matter to completionists and OCD people.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases where I really like this more if it wasn't a number 1. If this was like a number 10 or 12, it would make a lot more sense to me and easier for me to just kind of dismiss a lot of the continuity necessities. It's a rough number 1.
Yeah, I think it's written from a fans of Black Panther, here's a story for you guys.
Or Marvel, I would say follower Marvel, but...
Honestly, Black Panther really hasn't been a popular Marvel character other than his stints in the Avengers. So that's why I don't really think it fits as far as like just Marvel in general.
No, you're right. I don't think he's had a run of his own solo book that's gone more than about 60 issues, which is 5 years. He's had a number of books, but he hasn't had a lot of sustained runs. So... it's a good book, it's just hard to say it's a recommender, that's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking for something new, I'd recommend it, give it a shot. Maybe it's something that you would like.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I do actually want to know where the hell this is going. But
the cliffhangers in each issue is what really keeps bringing me back to it. Otherwise, I'm not a big political thriller fan. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've railed enough about it, though. We can only hit the same point so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have been at this for quite a while. So, I was thinking next week, we've had somebody asking if they could come on the show and discuss Civil War II with us, so I think it's probably time to discuss that since it's been over for a few weeks now.
Okay.
After that, we have to go to Anime Los Angeles. I don't know if we'll record a show beyond finishing up our critical hit. We got to finish that Deadpool storyline since we got the opportunity.
All right.
And
my voice is repaired by that point.
I've listened to your acting. I don't know if it'll matter.
Yeah, this is true.
And I was thinking after that, I got a little bit inspired by one of the lists we read on the show. Maybe we should read Last Stand of the Wreckers.
Yes.
The Transformers book. Wow, stop. You were going to ruin another keyboard at this rate. But it sounds like a good story, and it sounds like something we can all at least read and find out if they've actually created such a good book within.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, I don't
next
really
week,
know the Wreckers, but it sounds interesting. I like the premise.
Yeah. So next week, Civil War II. The following week, Anime Los Angeles, and then the week after that, Last Stand of the Wreckers.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed everything, and I hope you'll roll with us again next week. Thank you very much. Have a great one. I am Jeremy.
Steve.
And Jesse.
Don't jerk and drive. Take care, everybody.
Steve, how many towels do we have left?
Huh?
Probably not that many.
Oh, we got a shit ton in the closet. Nobody ever uses them. I pulled one out to dry off the cat the other day.
Jesse, did you get the cat too?
No, they weren't in here.
Ew. Just ew.